Hey there, folks. Welcome to our table reading for Men in Black, the 90s classic. We're going to jump right into it, starting off with our cast list. Leading us through the world, our action description. We got Curtis. Fantastic. I'm going to be taking over the role of Agent K, and of course, his new partner, Agent J. Got Ulises hanging out right down there. As Laurel, resident mortician. Awesome. We got Angi down there. As Edgar, simple farmer who, wrong place, wrong time. Where's he? Yeah, he is hanging out right down there. As Frank the Pug, among others, we've got Jess. Where's she at? There we go. And head of the MIB, Zed. Awesome. We got
Hello.
Erik hanging out right down there. All right. Well, we are going to get ourselves started. Curtis, go ahead and take us away.
All right. Men in Black by Ed Sullivan. Exterior Road, Texas, Mexico border at night. A million stars wink in the night desert sky. Down here on Earth, an insect, one of those big, beautiful, multicolored four-winged jobs, glides effortlessly on the breeze, wafting along through crisp Texas air. The insect dips, it bangs, it does loop-the-loops, and then splats unceremoniously against the windshield of a white van as tearing down the road. In the van on the Texas-Mexico border, the driver of the van, a 50-year-old American, turns on the wiper, smearing the remains all over.
God damn bugs.
He squirts some wiper fluid onto the glass, which clears it up a bit, but now he sees something worse up ahead. It's a grouping of headlights, 8 of them, all pointing at him, stealing off the road. He bites his lip, calls over his shoulder to the back of the van. He speaks in Spanish, just subtitled.
Déjame hablar.
The van slows to a stop in front of the parked cars. All government issue 4 doors with INS stenciled on the sides. 7 or 8 INS agents stand in front of the cars imposingly. Their apparent leader steps forward and comes to the window. The driver rolls it down. Agent Janice, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, also government issue, looks at him and sighs.
Well, Nick the Dick, what a surprise. Where are you coming from?
I was fishing in Cuernavaca.
Sure you were. What do you say we have a look at your catch?
At the back of the van, the agents fling open the rear doors and a dozen frightened Mexicans, hopeful immigrants without official permission. Agent Janice looks at the driver, who's now held by 2 other agents, and shakes his head.
Me? I would have thrown him back. Vámonos. Fuera. Hagan una línea.
They pile out of the van. Some are parents of small children.
What do you get, Nick? $100 a head? 200? I hope you saved it all for your lawyer, pal, because you're going to need.
He stops in the middle of a sentence. Another car is approaching fast. It's the engine whining as it barrels down the road toward them. Several agents pull their weapons. The new car pulls a hard right, goes off the road, spins around the INS cars, and squeals to a sideways halt. Silhouetted in front of their headlights is a boxy black 1986 Ford LTD. 2 men get out dressed in plain black suits, crisp white shirts, simple black ties, shiny black shoes. K, 50-ish, is the apotheosis of the world weary. His partner, E, mid-60s, is just wary. They approach the INS agents.
We'll take it from here.
Who the hell are you?
K and D flash some form of ID.
INS, Division 6.
Division 6? I've never heard of Division 6.
Really?
K and D move past him and approach the row of nervous immigrants.
What are you thinking, D?
Tough call, Kay.
He walks down the road, sipping in Spanish.
Oye, ¿qué pasa? ¿Cómo estás, eh? No, que por acá, pues, abuela. Bueno, viera a Estados Unidos. ¿Dónde va? ¿Están trabajo, no? Buenas tardes. Es un placer verla aquí.
One by one, their faces relax, reassured by K's calm demeanor. When he reaches the 5th guy, he keeps the same cheery tone, but
Tú es muy feo, ¿no? ¿Qué dices te rompo la cara?
the guy smiles and nods. K stops. His own smile broadens and he jumps to the guy's shoulder. Again, the smiles and the nods. K looks back at D.
We got a winner here, D. Todo eso se llaman libras ahora sí. Láganse.
Sir,
¿Cómo que man? Váyase.
sir, you can't just.
Don't stir me. You have no idea who you're dealing with.
Silence on the road. The driver grins, jumps back in front of the seat of the van. The others pile into the rear, and they tear out of there.
We're gonna have a little chat with our friend here. He wasn't hit the road and protecting us from dangerous aliens.
Candy escort their captain across the road and over a small rise, leaving the stunned INS agent standing alone in the roadway.
Ever heard of Division 6?
There is no Division 6.
Who are those guys?
Later desert clearing night, Candy leads their captive into a clearing into the desert brush. Dee pulls an enormous handgun from his shoulder holster and stays a pace or two off, covering him. Kay has an arm draped around the man's shoulders.
I think you jumped off the bus in the wrong part of town, amigo. In fact, I'm betting dollars to pesos to turn out for him.
He pulls out a small laser device, which he zips neatly down in front of the man's clothes.
You're from anywhere near here.
The man's clothes fall to the ground, revealing what he really is underneath a scaly space bastard about 4.5 feet tall, with a snout, snail-like tentacles, and independently moving eyes on stalks at the top of his head. The only part of his camouflage not crumpled to the ground, his humanesque head, which he still lamely holds in one of his hands, is propped up by a stick like a puppet, and he continues to make expressions as he holds it.
Mikey? I'm gonna let you out of jail.
Mikey replies, an unfathomable combination of grunts, sweeps, and saliva.
Yeah, political refugee. Right.
You know how many treaty articles you've just violated?
Mikey makes a lame squeak.
What? My ass. Try 7.
From unauthorized immigration to failure to properly inoculate prior to landing.
Okay, that's enough. You hand me that head and put up your arm.
From behind Mikey, they hear a terrified gasp. Kay and Dee both look over quickly. One of the alien's eyes on the tall stalk whips around to all three of them see Agent Janice standing just over the rise, staring in frozen amazement.
Ah, shit.
Agent Janice screams. Mikey rips free of the rest of the Mexican disguise, knocks Dee out of the way, and takes off straight at Janice, screeching a horrible space bastard screech. Janice freezes, terrified.
Dee, shoot him!
Dee struggles to roll over and change the controls on his gun, which fell out of his hand as he hit the ground.
Dee, for Christ's sake!
Mikey keeps moving, covering the last few yards to Janice quickly. He steps on a rock, launches himself into the air, his dripping jaws cranked wide open. There is a sizzling sound, a brilliant white flash, and Mikey erupts in a geyser of blue goo and splatters all over the ground, the trees, and Agent Janice's face. Behind where Mikey was, Kay stands smoking, weapon in hand. On the road, the Texas-Mexico border, at night, on the road, the INS agents pull their guns and run toward the rise. On an exterior desert clearing at night, Kay has an arm around Janice, whom he is leading further into the clearing. Janice is white, shaking, eyes like silver dollars.
That
That wasn't.
human. I know. Okay, you got some entrails on you there.
Takes out a handkerchief and wipes off the agent's face. As he does, Janice looks backward to where Mikey blew up, then at Kay, then up at the stars. The other INS agents burst over the rise, shouting questions.
Okay, everybody, situation under control. Calm down. You just give me your attention for a moment. I'll tell you what happened.
From over the rise, car engines whine in the distance, and headlights start to flash around them. Kay reaches in his pocket, pulls out a tubular metallic device the size of a pocket recorder. He checks his watch figures in his head and dials an electronic counter on the side of the device up to 08.
This is called a neuralizer. It's a gift from some friends from out of town. This red eye here will isolate the electronic impulses in your brain, more specifically the ones for memory.
Behind him, 6 more men in black, all wearing black suits and sunglasses, come over the hill. Kay barks if you orders them.
That's good. Give me a splay burn around the perimeter, please. Holes at 40, 60, and 80 meters. Thank you.
What in the hell is going on?
Exactly the right question, and the answer you're looking for lies right here. Pay attention.
Who are you? Really?
Really? I am just a figment of your imagination.
Goes up to the neuralizer, the agents peer closely at it. Kay reaches in his pocket, puts on his black sunglasses, and pushes a button on the side of the neuralizer. A blinding flash, 10th of a second long, series, sears the agent's eyeballs. They stare blankly.
Damn, we're a gullible breed.
Behind them, tongues of fire blast from the flamethrower held by one of the men in black. Kay looks back at the INS agents who are just coming around as if awakening from a concussion.
I mean, fellas, you're lucky to be alive after a blast like that.
The agents look around confused.
What blast?
Kay gestures behind them where the men in black are now using fire extinguishers to douse the flames they themselves started.
The underground gas vein, genius. You guys need to exercise a lot more caution before discharging your firearms.
He jabs a finger to Janice's chest.
Especially you.
Dee has moved away from them all and is sitting on a rock, staring up at the night sky, his sunglasses dangling idly from one hand. Kay steps away from the group and finds him. He sits down next to him.
I'm sorry about back there.
Happens.
Didn't used to.
He holds up his hands, which tremble with age.
Spirit's willing, Kay. The rest of me,
He looks up at the million stars shining overhead.
they're beautiful, aren't they?
What?
The stars. We never just look anymore. I'll tell you, Kay, I will miss the chase.
He pulls his neuralizer from his pocket and looks down at it.
Won't be. You won't.
Exterior, Grand Central Station, Sovereign Exposure, night. A shot of the clock of the station's stately Sovereign Exposure. We pan down to a pair of feet running. They belong to a man we will know as the perpetrator. As we track with him, he speeds up and out of frame. A new set of feet come into the frame. These belong to James Edwards, an NYC cop in undercover street clothes. In the background, about 10 feet behind, are two other cops trying to keep up. Edwards is a lot faster, though. He pulls out his badge and hangs from a chain under his shirt.
Stop. NYPD.
He continues running out of frame, and we stay on one of the other cops. Overweight, he gives up the chase and drops to his knees, heaving hair.
Oh, here's Edwards.
The cop fumbles in his pocket for a pack of cigarettes. Tracked with Edwards and the perp. As they run through the bridge that traverses Park Avenue in the low 40s, the perp veers to the left and seemingly oblivious to the fact that it's a 30-foot drop. He hurdles the guardrail and drops to the 41st Street below. Edwards is surprised by this maneuver, but doesn't waste a second. He too hurdles the guardrail and lands on exterior 41st Street and Park Avenue at night. A double-decker bus, one of those cheesy sightseers that hold up midtown traffic. The bus, of course, is completely filled with Japanese tourists, and it seems like every single one of them has a video camera. Edward pushes through the crowd.
Grand Central Station, off to your left, folks.
With the bus still moving, he scrambles down the circular stairs and runs out the side door. He spots the perp sailing east on 41st Street.
Damn it, man. You're making me sweat up my gear.
Edward spots one of those New York Post delivery trucks declining with the open back door rumbling by. He runs and jumps into the back. Exterior 5th Avenue at night. The perp, meanwhile, is running at top speed when Edwards glides into frame, leaning off the back of the truck.
Yo, man, your luck just ran out.
He leaps on the back of the moving truck and tackles the perp. The perp, now shelled by Edwards, is terrified.
He's coming. He's coming.
And when he gets here, I'll kick his ass too.
Edwards is about to slap the cuffs on him when the perp blinks. Nothing unusual about that, but then a nurse of translucent milky white eyelids underneath his regular eyelids blink slowly. Edwards is thrown for a moment, which is all the time the perp needs to pull out. His weapon, which is the strangest looking gun you've ever seen, reacting quickly, Edward bats it out of the perp's hand. The weapon smashes into the stone wall surrounding Central Park and shatters into a million pieces.
What the?
Womp. The perp kicks him in the nuts, then scrambles to his feet and takes off again. Edward staggers after him in pain. The perp leans over a moving car towards the Guggenheim Museum. Edwards tries to follow, but a bus pulls in front of him. After it passes, the perp is gone. Guggenheim Museum at night, exterior. Edwards runs over to the museum, leans over the wall, and surrounds it. And in the next instant, the perp flies past him, heaving leap from 20 feet down to the top of the Guggenheim. He scrambles up and over the ledge. Edward reacts. He runs to the front door of the museum, shoots it open, and runs inside. He runs from the rotunda up the grand ramp of the Guggenheim. Exterior, Guggenheim Museum, roof at night. On the roof, the perp reaches the top, climbs over the edge, and crunches to the gravel surface. He leaps to his feet and races over to a door. It's locked. He tugs on another. It's locked too. He pulls on a third. It swings open, revealing Edwards on the other side, breathing hard. He aims his weapon at the perp.
What's up?
The perp screams inhumanly and panics. He backpedals toward the edge of the roof.
He's coming. He's coming because I failed, and now he'll kill me too.
Stop!
You don't understand. Your world's gonna end.
But the perp backed into the edge of the roof, and now he starts to fall over. The perp blinks.
What are you?
The perp looks down, he decides, and he falls, screaming to his death. Interior interrogation room night. Edward sits on one side of the table, a police inspector and a uniformed sergeant, the one who gave up the chase and lit a cigarette earlier, sit across from him.
Perpetrator then blinked 2 sets of eyelids. You mean blinked with both eyes?
Oh, sir. He blinked once with one set, then again with another completely different set.
Sort of a low beam, high beam.
Was that before or after he drew the weapon, which you claimed evaporated into a million pieces?
After, sir.
And why do you suppose none of the other officers saw either of these 2 events?
Because some of the other officers are a little soggy in the midsection, and they couldn't keep up, sir.
Hey, Edwards, if you were half the man I am.
What do you mean? I am half the man you are.
What the hell is your problem?
My problem is you being up in my damn old face all the time.
I think you threw him off the roof. 10 minutes, your best shot.
Sergeant, I want to talk to you outside, now.
You need 10 minutes on a Stairmaster. But you bastard.
Interrogation room later that night. A woman sneaks into the room. Dr. Laurel Weaver, dirty-ish, dark hair, dark eyes, general aura of darkness around her, stands above him. Laurel looks like she was just dragged out of bed, which she was, and saw a spaceman, which she did. She looks over her shoulder once and whispers to him.
Laurel Weaver, Deputy Medical Examiner. I believe you. I opened him up. Find me at the morgue on 26th. I'll tell you what I found.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You have really pretty eyes.
He hurries to turn the corner, but is stopped by someone who remains just off screen.
Dr. Weaver from the coroner's office, working on John Doe.
Edward twists in his chair to get a better look at. All he sees is Laurel, facing whoever it is in the hallway.
Yes, that's right.
Would you look right here, please?
Someone says something else, and Laurel slips forward, now also out of Edward's vision.
Look where?
Edward stretches even further into his seat when a blinding flash from the corridor. Really curious, now he starts to get up. When Kay steps into the room and closes the door behind him, Edwards rolls his eyes.
Some night, huh?
Oh, yeah. Some night.
He crosses to the door.
There were gills,
Edward stops.
not eyelids.
Who are you?
Did you say anything to you?
Yeah, sure. He said the world was coming to an end.
Did you say when?
You're kidding, right?
Would you recognize the weapon if you saw it again?
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a ride.
Wait a minute. I got a ton of paperwork.
It's all done.
At that point, the inspector sticks his head in and smiles and gives Edwards a thumbs up.
Good work, Edwards.
Edwards looks at the inspector and then at Kay as they leave.
Ran this guy down on foot. That's tough, kid. That's double tough.
Cut to interior Ford LTD. A moment later, driving in a plain box seat Ford, Kay drives sound. He raises his hand and nods to a black MIB truck coming into the opposite direction. Edwards in the passenger seat is still in his undercover outfit.
So, who you with?
He says nothing.
You got the plain clothes, the government issue wheels, Secret Service, CIA?
Kay remains utterly silent.
Yeah, well, whoever it is, you're short on funding.
Nothing is what it seems, kid.
Oh, yeah, my bad. 86 Ford LTD. That's a luxury ride. Come on, who you with?
Kay pulls the car to the stop.
Part of a secret organization that monitors and polices alien activity on Earth.
Kay opens the door and gets out of the car. Edwards follows. Exterior pawn shop night. Edward looks around, sees they're standing in front of a pawn shop.
This is where we're going?
They get out of the car.
Jack Jeebs? Guy buys from chain snatchers. Doesn't even sell you guns.
Really?
All right. You think it's worth shaking up? Fine. I'll do my thing. Then I want some answers.
All right, what do you think, kid?
Edwards goes inside. Interior pawn shop night. Jack Jeebs is a sleazy, sarcastic proprietor of the pawn shop. He's not easily intimidated.
Officer Edwards! Oh, hey, geez, how did these get in here? I thought I turned them into the proper authorities.
He casually brushes some Rolexes off the counter.
Way out here, Jeeps. You to something a little hotter than some stolen Rolexes.
Sure, I'm a big crack dealer now. I just work here because I love the hours.
That pisses Edwards off. He grabs Jeebs by the collar.
I'm talking about guns, Jeebs. High-tech stuff.
Come on, Edwards. What you see is what I got.
Why are you showing the imports, Jeebs?
At the sound of Kay's voice, Jeebs suddenly pales, a look of fear coming over his face.
Hi, Kay. How are you?
The imports, Jeebs. Now.
You know, I got out of that business a long time ago, okay?
Why do you lie to me? I hate it when you lie.
He pulls his own gun and aims it at Jeebs' forehead.
Whoa, okay. Hold on a minute here.
On the count of 3.
Edwards, seeing that Kay's getting somewhere, joins in the routine.
You'll do it, Jeebs.
1,
I've seen him do it.
2.
Talk to me, Jeebs. He's crazy when he's like this.
He's always crazy. Take a cruise. Get a massage.
Kaboom! Kay blows Jeebs' head off and Jeebs' body collapses to the floor. Edwards is shocked. Edwards pulls his own weapon and points it at Kay's head.
Put down the gun and put your hands on the counter.
I warned him.
Drop the weapon.
You warned him.
You are under arrest. You have the right to remain silent.
You relax.
Don't do that.
Edwards rolls around to see Jeebs' body growing another head. Only takes 4 or 5 seconds. Kay calmly shoves his gun up against Jeebs. Baby's off knee cheek.
You know how much that hurts?
Show us what you got, Jeebs, or I'll use up the other one.
Jeebs' panic hits a button on the underside of the counter, which promptly flips over, filling yet another dusty shelf piled high with junk. But this is all alien junk, weapons, mostly bizarre, otherworldly weapons of all shapes and sizes.
Edwards?
Edward, still dazed by Jeebs' regrown head, glances down at all weapons.
This is what I saw.
Kay looks at Jeebs, pissed off.
You sold a carbonizer with implosion capacity to an unlicensed cephalopoid. Jeebs, you piece of shit.
Looks all right to me.
Carbonizer an assassin's weapon, Jeebs. Who was the target?
I don't know.
Kay raises the weapon again, threatening.
Jeebs?
I don't know!
Kay lowers his gun, gestures to the shelf full of weapons.
This is all confiscated. All of it. I want you on the next transport off this rock, or I'm going to shoot you where it don't grow back.
Jeebs nods, point taken. Kay leaves.
Yeah, I'll be by tomorrow for those Rolexes.
Shaken, Edwards follows. Sarah pawn shop night. Edward staggers out of the shop, trying to get the day's event straight in his head.
The eyelids, fine. And the jumping thing, and the gun. Okay, but the head?
Searching for a handle on the moment here. Just to file all this.
See, a head doesn't do that. It doesn't just grow back. What's going on?
Can't help you, kid. The only comfort I can offer is that tomorrow, you won't remember a thing.
Oh, no. This I'm going to remember for a long, long time.
Kay pulls the neuralizer from his pocket. He hesitates for a brief space of moments, as if this particularly neuralization is different than all the others. Then he puts on his sunglasses.
You ever see one of these?
Interior, Chinese restaurant. The flash dims on Edwards and Kay, sitting at a table at a Chinese restaurant.
And the wife says, honey, this one's eating my popcorn.
He bursts out laughing. Edwards across him is completely disoriented. He looks down. There's a half-eaten order of broccoli leaf and several empty bottles of beer on the table in front of him.
Huh?
Kay checks his watch.
Oh, oops. Gotta run. Thanks to the egg rolls, kid.
Where am I?
You see what I mean about the tequila, James? You're a bright young man. You just gotta lay off the sauce. I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp.
He turns and walks out. Edwards checks his watch. A waitress appears.
Another beer?
Coffee.
She walks off. Edwards looks at the table. There's a business card lying next to his plate, on which Kay has handwritten James D. Edwards, Saturday, 9 a.m., 504 Battery Drive. Edwards looks at it, puzzled. He turns the card over and looks at the upper side. There's not much there. No name, no phone or fax number, no email address. Just 3 little letters, dead in the middle of the card, M-I-D. Exterior farmhouse, night. A lonely farmhouse amid the fields. of um, upstate New York farm country. Several lights are on, and through a window we can see the silhouette of a man sitting at the kitchen table, the silhouette of a woman hovering over him, bringing things to him. The man, Edgar, waves his arms ranting.
I go
Go
out.
out.
Oh, sorry.
I go out. I work my butt off to make a living. All I want is to come home to a nice clean house with a nice fat steak on the table. But instead I get this. This, I don't even know what you call this.
In the sky above is one of those brilliant star fields, but something strange is happening with one of those stars. It's getting bigger.
Tell you what it looks like. It looks like poison. Don't you take that away. I'm eating that. Damn it. It is poison, isn't it?
No, that star isn't getting bigger. It's moving toward us fast. It goes from a pinpoint to a dime, to a nickel, to a quarter, and works its way into fruit metaphors.
Swear to God, I would not be surprised if it was. The way you skulk around here like a dog been hit too much. Or I've been hit enough. I can't make up my mind.
Okay, we're way past watermelon now. Now, that thing is huge, and it's starting to glow hot, red as it enters the Earth's atmosphere, headed straight towards us, coming here to Beatrice and Edgar's place. The blazing fireball barrels through the sky, snaps off a couple of trees.
You're useless, Beatrice. The only thing that pulls its weight around here is my goddamn truck.
And slams right through a pickup truck parked in the driveway. A concussive blast follows, and a geyser of smoke and flame erupts.
Stay here.
The silhouette of Edgar leaps to his feet, races to the door, and throws it open. Edgar is everything his voice led us to suspect, a nasty, bug-eyed redneck carrying a 12-gauge shotgun. His mouth agape, he walks across the yard and stares at the hulking shell of what was his truck. The skeleton truck is still there, but there's a huge smoldering hole in it, a hole that goes at least 10 feet down to the ground.
Figures.
He walks to the truck and touches the door handle. Ha! Using his shirt tail, he opens the door and peers down into the hole. Into the hole, he sees a smooth curve of metal and a few blinking lights. Embedded into the ground is indeed a spaceship, maybe 8 feet across. Beatrice calls from behind him, standing in the doorway fearfully.
What is it, Edgar?
Get your big butt back in the house.
Beatrice says as she's told, closing the door behind her. Edgar turns back to a smoldering rock, raising his shotgun in defense. An otherworldly voice comes from deep in the hole.
Place projectile weapon on the ground.
Edgar staggers back a step, terrified, but then he regains himself, raises the weapon, and steps forward, pointing it menacingly down the hole.
You have my gun when you pry it from my cold, dead fingers.
There's a pause. While the voice thinks about this offer, finally responds in a voice and cadence remarkably similar to Edgar's.
Your proposal is acceptable.
A long, hairy pincer flashes out of the hole, grabs Edgar by the head, and pulls him down to the hole. From deep in the hole, we hear a terrible ripping sound, like a bedsheet being torn in half. There are some disgusting, gushy sounds, and a moment later, something flies out of the hole and flops onto the ground next to the truck. It's Edgar, well, sort of. His body parts still hang together, face, arms, legs, even clothes, but even everything inside has been removed, and now he just lies there flat and empty, like a tuxedo on the floor after the prom. The shotgun flies out and lands beside him. Interior farmhouse kitchen night. Beatrice sits at the kitchen table, terrified, still wiping away tears from Edgar's diatribe. The door opens and Edgar comes back into the kitchen, seemingly fleshed out again. Leaving the door hanging open behind him, he carries a shotgun. She looks up at him, anxious, but his face is a blank.
What on earth was it?
He looks at her strangely when he speaks. His voice is different than before, more refined.
Sugar.
Pause. Then she looks out the window at the smoking truck.
I've never seen Sugar do that.
Give me sugar.
Puzzled, Beatrice gets up, goes to the camera, grabs a bag of sugar. She pulls it out to him.
Water.
Right, she takes a glass of water from the table. She dumps some sugar into it.
More.
She pours more until the glass is brimming. She stirs it in quickly with a knife and hands it to him, her hand trembling. Edgar takes it and downs in a single gulp. Beatrice stares at Edgar, no idea what to think. She notices something odd about the skin on his neck.
Edgar, your skin, it's just hanging off your bones.
Edgar drops the glass and looks in the window to catch his reflection. He reaches up and twists his whole face as if adjusting the ski mask and tucks the skin of his neck back to the shirt collar. He looks at her.
That better?
He just faints. Exterior farmhouse. Stillness, silence. A loud scraping sound comes from the pit left by his spaceship. The nose of the ship itself rises up out of the pit. Waver keeps moving and finally crunches to the ground outside the pit. Edgar climbs out of the pit, breathing heavily. He dusts himself off and continues pushing the ship along the ground off into the darkness. Exterior MIB building day. The next morning, Edwards, holding the small MIB business card in his hand, compares the address written down by Kay to the address on the utterly nondescript building in front of him. It's 7 stories high, gray, windowless, perfectly square, squatting on a bridge over a road like a fat guy on the John. 504 Battery Drive. Interior MIB building, tunnel vent room day. Edward steps through a heavily barred metal door into a long, bizarre room. One wall is entirely dominated by enormous blades of a tunnel vent air intake. There is an elevator at the far end of the room and an old security guard. The rent-a-cop time, reading a comic book on a folding metal chair and halfway across. Edwards walks across the room, his footsteps echoing. The guard looks up.
Help you?
Maybe. I'm not sure. See, I got this card.
Elevator, push the call button.
And he goes back to his comic book. Edwards, maybe out of nothing more than curiosity at this point, walks across the room toward the elevator. As he draws close, the elevator doors whoosh open, expecting him. Interior MIB building, entrance elevator day. Edwards steps inside and turns around. The doors close. He pushes the call button and waits, but the elevator doesn't move. Instead, doors on the other side of the elevator slide open silently behind him. Edwards waits, unaware. From behind him, somebody clears her throat. Edwards turns around and finds himself standing in Interior MIB building interview room today. This back room is every bit of as mysterious and unfamiliar as the entryway. Standing at the front of the room is Zed, a wire-haired career G-man, an old-school bureaucrat, wearing the exact same kind of suit Kay had on last night. 6 other hot recruits sit in egg-shaped chairs, staring at Edwards. One chair is empty.
You're late. Sit down.
Edwards takes the remaining chair. The elevator door slides shut. Zed continues addressing the recruits.
My name is Zed. You're all here because you're the best of the best. Marines, Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, NYPD.
They all turn and regard Edwards a little smugly. He gives it back.
And we're looking for one of you. Just one. What will follow is a series of simple tests designed to quantify motor skills, hand-eye coordination, concentration, stamina, and we have a question.
Edward's hand is indeed up.
Why? I'm sorry. It's just no one really asked this. But why exactly are we doing this?
Silence. Then one of the young recruits equally raises his hand. Zed calls on him.
Son?
Jake Jensen, West Point graduate with honors. We're here because you're looking for the best of the best of the best, sir.
Edwards tries to stifle a laugh but can't.
What's so funny, Edwards?
I don't know, sir. This guy, best of the best of the best, best of the best, just struck me. Humorous, sir.
Short pause, and Zed continues.
Okay, let's get going.
Interior MIB building interview room later that day. The recruits scribble away at the written test. It's a thick document, reasoning skills, general knowledge, diagrams. Recruits seem to be really powering through it, filling in answer after answer, but no desks have been provided for them, and they're all still in their chairs, writing uncomfortably on their thighs or knees. Edwards is really struggling. He writes 2 words on one answer, then decides to erase it. The lack of a writing surface is driving him crazy. His pencil even tears through the page. He looks up. In the middle of the tile floor, there's an unused table. Edward gets up, goes to it, grabs hold, and drags it, screeching definitely back to his chair. Everybody looks up, wincing at the horrible sound that fills the room. Edward sits back down, now writing on the table. That's better. Zed raises an eyebrow. He stares at Edwards and looks up toward a smoke glass window. Behind the dark glass, a figure stands, staring unemotional. Cut to the MIB building shooting gallery. 7 weapons rest on a table in the middle of an otherwise empty triangular room. The 7 recruits stand in front of the table. There's an odd moment where everyone sort of looks around at each other at the blank walls.
Anyone, any of you guys know what we're doing here?
Look for the best of the best of the best.
Well, yeah, I know, but
And then suddenly, two far walls pull apart. The whole room pulsates in the air is suddenly filled with bewildering swirl of uh, stroboscopic images, both human and alien. Everywhere is color, light, and movement. The holographic mass of strange shapes and characters moving simultaneously. The recruits lunge for the weapons, snapping them up and taking aim. 6 shots are fired at once. Then a second later, a 7th shot is fired. Everyone sort of looks at Edwards, who puts his gun down last. There's an awkward silence. Then the door opens, light pours in, and Zed with it. Even the highly competitive cadets can't help but feel some sympathy as Zed walks straight to Edwards.
Edwards, what the hell happened?
Hesitated, sir.
Zed looks into the gallery. Most obvious in the frozen tableau of creatures is a lunging, snarling beast, which has 3 bullet holes in its chest. Next to it is a massively deformed humanoid creature with a large hook for a head, which also has 3 holes in it. In the back corner of the gallery, there's a single bullet hole in the pretty 8-year-old girl.
I ask why you felt little Tiffany deserved to die.
She was the only one who's actually seemed dangerous at the time.
And how did you come to that conclusion?
Hookhead guy, you explain to me how he can think with a hook for a head? Answer. It's not his head. His head is that butt ugly beanbag thing over there. Because if you look at that snarling beast guy, he's not snarling. He's sneezing. He's got tissues in his hand. No threat there. And anyhow, the girl's books were way too advanced for an 8-year-old's. And besides, from where I'm looking, she was the only one who appeared to have a motive. And I don't appreciate you jumping down my throat about it.
Highway glances from the other recruits. Zed sighs.
Or do I owe her an apology?
Interior MIB building, observation room, interview room day. Zed and Kay stand behind smoke glass, staring at the recruits, who are still in the shooting gallery, waiting for a decision.
She's got a real problem with authority.
So do I. The guy ran down a cephalopod, Zed. On foot. Damn. Gotta count for something.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Zed turns and walks away. Kay stares through the glass at Edwards, who stands alone on the other side of the room, apart from the rest of the group. Zed reappears on the other side of the glass, coming through a door and into the shooting gallery. As he talks, Kay turns and walks off.
Gentlemen, congratulations. You're everything we've come to expect from years of government training. Now, if you'll just follow me, we have one more test to administer. And
Interior MIB building, hallway. The recruits follow Zed out of the shooting gallery into a long hallway. Zed motions them off to the left. Edward's the last one out of the room, but he stops as he steps into the hallway. Kay's outside the door waiting for him. Edward recognizes him from the last night.
You. Hey, what's going on?
The other recruits continue down the hall with Zed. Kay doesn't answer, just gestures to Edwards to follow him down the hall, which he does.
Back in the mid-50s, the government started up a little underfunded agency with the simple and laughable purpose of making contact with a race not of this planet.
As they pass an alcove, Edwards notices the 6 other recruits who have been turned into a corner. Zed, addressing them, pulls a neuralizer from his pocket.
now, if you look directly at the end of this device.
He holds a neuralizer up in front of them, and then the recruits stare obediently at it as Zed slips on a pair of black sunglasses. Edward stares, fascinated, but Kay hand reaches and yanks him away just as Zed's neuralizer flashes white. Interior MIB building hallway day. As Kay leads Edwards down an impossibly long corridor, he hands him a file folder stuffed thick with 8 by 10 photographs. He hands Jay the first pictures, a shot of 8 or 9 men in a plain black suit standing around a 50s-style office with metal desks and fluorescent lights. D and Z are there, much younger.
Everybody thought the agency was a joke, except for the aliens. They made contact on March 2nd, 1961 outside of New York City.
Another photograph, a grainy black and white image of 2 ships hovering in the night sky, classic flying saucer shapes.
There were 9 of us that night. 7 agents, an amateur astronomer, and 1 poor kid who got lost on the wrong back road.
Yet another photograph, this one showing a young Kay in a shirt and tie, holding a bouquet of flowers, staring at the open door of the landed flying saucer. Alien shapes are visible within.
Aw, you brought the aliens flowers.
Kay stares Edwards to the right, down another corridor, just as long as the first.
They were intergalactic refugees with a simple request. Let us use the Earth as an apolitical zone for people without a planet. You ever see Casablanca? Right, same thing, except no Nazis. We agreed, so we amassed all the evidence of their landing.
Another picture, just one of the 1964 World's Fairgrounds, still under construction. Giant models of rockets mark the fierce theme of space travel. Most prominent in the construction are two tall towers with the flying saucers now mounted at the top of each.
The 1964 World's Fair was a cover-up?
Or else we hold it in Queens. Now it left. More non-humans arrive every year. They live among us in secret.
I see. Not to change the subject, but when was your last CAT scan?
Every 6 months, company policy.
Well, thanks for the very amusing morning, but I'm hoping you'll show me where I came in, because this is where I go out.
They have stopped next to an unmarked door. Kate throws it open and steps inside.
Yeah, sure, hang on. I'm gonna get some coffee. You want some coffee?
As Kate walks into the kitchen next, Edward's jaw drops, his eyes widen, and he stares in wonderment at three worm-like aliens standing around a water cooler, tall and possibly thin, most certainly not from New York. The aliens hold an animated conversation in a language that seems like a combination of Esperanto and microphone feedback.
Well, don't tell me I'm like that powdered shit for cream again.
One of the worm aliens answers him in their native tongue and points to the counter.
Oh.
He finds the cream sitting out on the counter where the alien indicated, dumps some in his coffee, and comes back outside, closing the door behind him. He reaches up and gently pushes Edward's jaw up, closing his mouth.
Future reference? This is a better look for you.
Exterior Battery Park Day. Edward's thrown for a major loop, sits like a zombie alongside Kay on a bench in Battery Park. Kay drinks his coffee while they talk.
Any given time, around 1,500 landed aliens are on the planet. Majority right here in Manhattan. Most aliens are decent enough, just trying to make a living.
Cab drivers.
And not as many as you think. Humans, for the most part, don't have a clue. Don't want one either. They're happy. They think they got a good beat on things.
Why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
The person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, idiotic, and you know it. Everything they've ever known has been proven wrong. 1,000 years ago, everyone knew as a fact the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. 15 minutes ago, you knew humans were alone on this planet. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow.
So what's the catch?
Well, what you'll gain in perspective, you'll lose in ways you're too young to comprehend. Give up everything. Sever every human contact. No one will ever know you exist. Ever.
Nobody?
Not allowed a favorite shirt. There's a speech I never heard. That's a choice I never got.
Hold up. You tracked me down. Put me through those stupid ass tests. Now you're trying to talk me out of it? I don't get it.
You got till sunup.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's worth it. You're strong enough.
Exterior Battery Park dusk. Almost nighttime now, and the park is empty. Edwards is still on the bench and still thinking. Above him, the stars are coming out. Slowly looks up into the vastness of the heavens. Interior garage day. Next morning, a door opens on a garage, and an Orkin man steps inside carrying a tank of toxic gas. The morning light spills on an abundance of spiders crawling everywhere. The big ones, small ones, hundreds of them have moved in and taken over this dusty place. The Orkin man sighs and sets down his tank.
Well. Moving right in, are we? Think we own the place?
He unfurls a hose from the side of the tank.
Got a little eviction notice for you boys.
He raises the mask to his face and unscrews the handle on top of the tank. Lethal gas starts to hiss from the end of the hose.
What exactly do you think you're doing?
The Orkin man turns around. Edgar stands in the doorway to the garage, staring at him disdainfully.
Taking care of your pest problem.
Pest problem. Pest.
Yeah, you got a hell of an infestation.
Edgar advances on him slowly.
You know, I have noticed an infestation here. Everywhere I look, in fact. Nothing but undeveloped, unevolved, barely conscious pond scum. So convinced of their own superiority as they scurry about their short, pointless lives.
Well, yeah. Don't you want to get rid of him?
In the worst way.
Edgar lashes out quickly, jerking the mask off the Orkin man's face with one hand. and shoving the gas hose down his throat with the other. The working man's car keys drop to the garage door and Edgar picks them up. Exterior garage day. A 6x10 sheet of plywood thuds to the driveway outside the garage. Edgar races one end of it so it's hanging off the back end of the working man's van. Now it's a ramp. He walks off and you hear the familiar scraping sound again. Edgar, grunting with the effort, slowly pushes the spaceship up the ramp and into the back of the Orkin trunk. Interior MIB building, tunnel vent room day. Edward stands in the middle of the tunnel vent room, the same one as he first came into yesterday. The elevator doors open and Kate, obviously summoned by the old security guard, stands waiting for him.
One thing you got to know right now.
Edward walks briskly forward and gets into the elevator with Kate.
All right, I'm in. Because there's some next level shit going on here, and I'm with that. Before you beam me up, there are a couple things we need to get straight. You chose me because you recognize the skills. So now you can cease with all the calling me son or kid or sport. Cool?
Cool, Slick. Well, got some news for you about these little skills of yours.
Elevator doors. Interior MIB building headquarters day. Slide open on the Men in Black quarters.
Because at this moment, they mean precisely dick.
It's unlike anything we've ever seen. Huge, multi-level of 60s design, polished steel and glass. The workplaces are sleek and uncluttered, manned by both humans and aliens. Most of the aliens stay in the background like upside-down guy who walks on the ceiling, shuffling papers. Kay and Edward step off the elevator and onto a platform that looks out over the whole place. Kay leads them down the complex. First, they walk past a sort of passport control center where a human bureaucrat at a desk is checking the documents of a line of aliens who just arrived. There are a dozen bizarre life forms in that line, chatting in half a dozen different alien tongues. Edward slow as they pass, listening to the passport control officer as he addresses the Arquillian, a large humanoid visitor.
Purpose of trip,
A diplomatic mission.
duration of stay,
Lunch.
carrying any fruits or vegetables.
Edward just stares, fascinated, but Kay grabs him by the arm and hurries him along.
Let's go. He's grouchy.
Kay moves him into the central hall.
Couple hours away after a 17 light year flight is going to make it a little nervous.
What branch of the government do we report to?
None. They started asking too many questions.
So who pays for all this?
We hold the patents on a few gadgets we confiscated from out-of-state visitors. Velcro, microwave ovens, liposuction.
At a storage cage, Kay turns a key in the lock of the cage in the area and throws the door open. Inside are piles of sophisticated-looking devices stacked on shelves and tabletops.
Here, new recording device is going to replace CDs soon. Got to buy the White Album again. Oh, this is amusing. Universal Translator.
He holds up a cylindrical metal tube and a small wire clip that looks like a lapel microphone.
We're never supposed to have it, and I'll tell you why. Because human thought is so primitive, it's considered an infectious disease on other planets. Kind of makes you proud, doesn't it?
Edward picks up a small yellow ball from one of the shelves.
What's this?
Well, don't touch that!
As the ball zings out of Edward's hands and flies to the main complex, hits the ceiling, and ricochets around the room faster than the eye can follow. Various shots of human and aliens ducking, dodging, and jumping out of the way. On Casey calmly, a little warily, slips an odd-looking metal glove over his right hand. He raises his hand and the yellow ball zinks into it. Kate catches the ball calmly.
This caused a 1977 New York blackout. Practical joke by the great attractor. Thought it was funny as hell.
They leave the room.
Sorry.
On the main floor, they walk briskly across the room, reaching a giant screen on the far wall.
Observation, heart of our little endeavor.
The screen displays a map of the world on which thousands of tiny lights blink in all parts of the globe, log lines of data flashing next to them.
This map shows the location of every registered alien on Earth at any given time. Some of them under constant surveillance.
He hits a button on the console and the map is replaced by hundreds of boxes, each with smaller video images.
Everybody on these screens is an alien. In public, normal. In private, well, you get the idea.
On the screen, we see live images of aliens. Aliens who look alien are in spots where they can't be seen. Aliens who look human are functioning right on the public, including Sam Donaldson, Michael Jackson, and Tony Robbins.
They meet the twins, and Bob.
They just two small bony creatures with 8 arms, each and a single eye growing out of a central stalk in their heads. They turn around and wave 2 or 3 arms each.
I gotta be honest about something.
Makes no sense.
It makes perfect sense. When I was in 3rd grade in Philadelphia, they told me I was crazy because I swore that our teacher was from like Venus or something.
Mrs. Edelson.
Edward, stunned, looks at Cat. Four eyes boots her onto the screen. Mean face, cat glasses, bony figures, extremely well-fitting tail.
Jupiter, actually. Well, one of the moons.
With their remaining arms, they punch button after button on the enormous console. Zed, who is standing up close to the screen, walks over to Edwards, sizing him up.
What's your jacket size, Edwards?
40, regular.
Then let's put it on.
Put what on?
The last suit you'll ever wear.
MIB building locker room day like the rest of the place. The MIB locker room is all white walls, white floor, white ceiling, white locker. Zed's voice comes over.
From now on, you'll dress only in attire specifically sanctioned by MIB Special Services.
Edward reaches out and opens a white locker, revealing a black suit hung from a hanger in the middle above it on the shelf, a black hat, and a pair of black sunglasses. On the bottom, a pair of shiny black shoes. MIB building headquarters day. Kay is at a computer terminal. On screen are Edwards' birth certificate, driver's license, social security card, library card, everything. Zed's voice continues.
You'll conform to the identity we give you, eat where we tell you, live where we tell you, get approval for any expenditure over $100.
Edward stands in cramped white feet. He holds both his hands on a 10-fingered keypad, pressing down hard. The pad glows red. A searing around comes from his hands, and he grimaces as more lasers instantly, not at all painlessly, change his fingerprints.
You will have no identifying marks of any kind. You will not stand out in any way.
Interior MIB building headquarters day. One by one, Kay deletes Edwards' identity cards. On the computer screen is Edwards' full name, James Darrell Edwards III. Kay punches a couple keys and the cursor begins to keep from right to left, starting to eliminate the rightmost letters of Edwards' name.
Your entire image is carefully crafted to leave no lasting memory whatsoever with anyone you encounter.
Interior MIB building locker room day. Pants come off the hanger, the white shirt is removed. More letters are eliminated from his name. It reads James Darrell Ed, then James Dar.
You're a rumor, recognizable only as deja vu and dismissed just as quickly. You don't exist. You were never even born.
The coat is removed. The hats come off the shelf.
Anonymity is your name. Silence your native tongue.
James.
You are no longer part of the system. You're above the system, over it, beyond it.
You sleep in the black shoes, a belt is buckled, a tie pushed up.
We're them, we're they.
On screen, all that's left is the letter J. As the code is buttoned, you notice the sleeve monogrammed on the cup is simply the letter J.
We are the Men in Black.
Interior MIB building headquarters day. Looking slick and handsome in an extremely sharp suit, James D. Edwards III, or rather J, steps into the doorway from the locker room. He reaches into his pocket, takes out his sunglasses, and looks at Kay.
You know the difference between you and me?
He slips on the sunglasses.
I'll make this look good.
Exterior New Jersey, early morning. We are looking at a telephoto shoot of Manhattan. In all its splendor, we see the Orkin band topping a hill, heading towards Manhattan. Interior MIB building, Zed's office, day. Zed's office is circular windowed room, elevated above the main floor of MIB headquarters. J and K sit across the desk from Zed. There are 5 video monitors on the wall. Behind Zed's desk, and on each monitor is another men in black in different parts of the world. The city name and a clock ticking in a corner of the image. While Zed talks, he goes through paperwork on his desk.
Okay, let's see. B. We got the deposed sub-prefect of Senali touching down in the forest outside Portland tonight. I'm pulling you down from Anchorage to do a meet and greet.
Being agent on one of the monitors nods. Humanoid?
You wish. Bring a sponge. What else? Everybody, we got to keep rolling Fishgoat out of the sewer system. He's scaring the rats. And Bobo the Squat wants to reveal himself on unsolved mysteries. B, make sure he doesn't.
He turns a page, coming across a red memo.
Red letter from last night. We had an unauthorized landing somewhere in upstate New York farm country. Keep your ears open for this one, Kay. We're not hosting a galactic kegger down here.
Next to him, his computer screen beeps. Importantly, Zed looks over at it.
Well. We've got a skimmer.
Landing alien out of zone. Who is it?
Red Gick. He's not clear to leave Manhattan, but he's way out of town right now, stuck in traffic on the New Jersey Turnpike. Why don't you take Junior here? There's a good one for him to warm up on. Go get him.
MIB building, Battery Park Day. J and K come out of the front of the MIB headquarters.
Yo, what's up with that? Go get him, Tiger. We're not hosting an intergalactic kegger.
Zed was saving the world before you were born, son. Show some respect.
An MIB mechanic pulls up in K's black LTD and hops out, leaving the door open. Jay sizes up the car.
We got the use of unlimited technology from the entire universe, and we cruise around in this?
K glares at Jay. He's getting annoyed. Interior MIB LTD. They get in and slam the doors. K starts the car, and the engine hums quietly.
Seatbelt.
You know, y'all gotta learn how to talk to people. You could be a little kinder and gentler.
K grits his teeth.
Fasten your seatbelt, please.
Now, did that hurt?
K shifts the car into reverse. The awesome power of the car kicks in and Jay sails forward, whacking into the dash. K shifts into the forward and taps on the gas, slamming Jay back into his seat.
Making fun of my ride.
A lighted panel rotates into place between the two front seats. Jay's hand falls by accident on a flashing red button on the panel.
Oh, hey, kid, the button?
Yeah?
Never push the red button.
Jay jerks his hand away. Exterior highway side of the road. The LTD is now stopped by the side of the road, dust swirling around it. Ahead of it, another car is pulled over. Kay gets out. Jay follows a moment later, shaky leg. Kay walks up to the window of the car. They stop. The driver, a guy in his mid-30s with a wife in her mid-30s, rolls the window down.
License registration, please.
The driver hands over some documents. Kay flips through them.
Like to see your other license and registration, please.
The guy digs out two other cards and hands those over. Jay peers over Kay's shoulder. The photographs on the resident alien ID cards are of two friendly-looking reptile types, husband and wife, smiling at the camera, their long, skinny tongues dangling in a friendly sort of way. Kay hands them back.
Your resident card has you restricted to the 5 boroughs only. Where do you think you're going?
It's my wife. She's, well, look.
Kay leans down and looks in the window. Mrs. Red Gick is in front, moaning in pain, holding her swollen belly. Kay straightens up fast.
Oh, God. How soon?
Mrs. Red Gick screams in pain. Real soon. For the first time since we've seen him, Kay is nervous.
Okay, all right. No big deal. I'll take care of him, and, well, you handle this.
Me?
Yeah, it's easy. You just catch.
Miss Red Gick screams again. Red Gick gets out of the car, worried.
Are you sure he knows what he's doing?
Oh, yeah, he does all the time. Go on, let him work, Reggie. I want to ask you something.
Kay gives Jay a supportive slap on the back and leads Red Gick away to the rear of the car. Jay stays in the background and opens the rear door tentatively. He leans down into the car.
Oh, God. I see it. I see it. I see it.
A few yards from the car, Kay turns Red Gick to face him.
Now, Croy, the midwife's back on 64th and 8th. You were headed out of town.
Well, we're, meeting someone.
Suddenly, a tentacle whips out from between Miss Red Gick's legs, cracks the whip once, and wraps around the doorpost, grabbing hold.
Oh, sweet Jesus, mother of God. Did you see that?
So, who you mean?
Well, it's a ship.
Really? I didn't see a departure clearance for today.
You didn't? Well, it was an emergency?
Now, a second tentacle whips out, but this one wraps around Jay's neck and pulls tight. He gasps, choking.
Guys!
Doing fine, Ace. So what kind of emergency? What's the big rush to get off the planet all of a sudden?
Help! Help! Hello!
He starts tugging for all his work, but the fight is sort of going against him as the tentacles pull him even harder, and he tries to pull the baby out.
We just don't like the neighborhood anymore. Some of the new arrivals.
Reggie looks at Kay, clearly concealing something, but darts his eyes away.
What new arrivals? Got anything to do with the crasher from last night?
Can you guys do this later?
But in that moment, Jay finally gets a foot up on the door frame, acquires leverage, and rips the baby free. He falls flat on his back on the dirt, the multi-tentacle lizard-like baby resting squarely on his chest.
Oh, man.
Kay turns and claps Red Gig on his back.
Congratulations, Reg. It's a squid.
Jay looks down at the creature cooling and nestling on his chest.
Hey, you know, it is sort of...
The bombing's on him. Exterior highway, side of the road, MIB LTD. Back in the car, Jay wipes the last of the puke off his suit while Kay starts up the car.
Anything about that seem unusual to you?
Jay just looks at him, very Jack Benny.
Pick.
What kind of new arrival would scare Regic so bad he'd risk a warp jump with a newborn? Let's go check the hot sheets.
Newsstand day. Clothes on various supermarket tabloids as a hand flips through them. These are headlines like Pope of Father and Top Doctors Baffled, Baby Born Pregnant, and Man Eats on Own House. The subhead on that one is, and that's just the appetizer, says neighbor. Kay and Jay are at downtown newsstand. Kay is furiously searching through the tabs. Jay is standing behind him, a little embarrassed.
These are the hot sheets?
Kay pulls up a copy of Weekly World News from the stand and gives the guy a book.
Best damn investigative reporting on the planet. But hey, go ahead. Read the New York Times if you want to. I get lucky sometimes.
You're actually looking for tips in a supermarket tabloid?
Not looking for. Found.
He smacks the paper down on the hood in front of Jay. The page is turned open to a headline in a typeface so large one would think it reversed the second coming. Farm wife says, alien stole my husband's skin. Exterior gem and jewelry store, Orkin Van Day. A flap of skin is now getting gray and crusted with age. Hangs off Edgar's neck as he sits in front of his Orkin van. He sucks as hard as he possibly can on a straw stuck onto a Jolt Cola, double the sugar, triple the caffeine. One of a six-pack that sits on a dashboard. Across the street, Edgar sees a short, older man come out of one of the jewelry shops on 35th Street. Edgar drops the soda and stares. The older man, Rosenberg, is carrying a cat in an ornate rosewood jewelry box. Carefully, he sets the box down and lovingly places the cat on top of it, while he locks all 5 locks on the door to his distinctive shop. That finished, he picks up the cat in the box, then walls off down the street, one under each arm. Edgar drops the truck into gear and follows him, slowly trolling along behind him. On the street, Rosenberg walks happily along, humming to himself. He gives his cat a little pet. As he rounds the corner, we recognize the tune. He's humming, I've got the whole world in my hands. The whole Orkin van rounds the corner behind him, following. Exterior farmhouse day. The LTD pulls up to a stop at the end of the driveway that leads to Beatrice's farmhouse, where the alien ship landed. The wrecked pickup truck is still there. Jay and Kay get out. Very undercover cop. Jay starts up the driveway.
Not so fast. Walk up slow.
Why?
Part of the routine. Makes it look like we're sizing up the situation. Gives her time to get the wrong impression.
Beatrice appears in the door to the house, curious.
Some fear into her. Makes things go smoother.
Beatrice calls to them.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Beatrice looks much better than the last time we saw her. More nicely dressed, a touch of makeup, a smile on her face. Kay pulls a black card from his wallet and extends it to her, and she draws close. As she reaches for it, the card reforms to an FBI badge.
How you doing, man? I'm Special Agent Mannheim, Special Agent Black, FBI. A few questions about your visitor.
Are you here to make fun of me too?
No, ma'am. We at the FBI have no sense of humor we're aware of. Mind if we come in?
Sure. Lemonade?
Yes, thank you.
Interior farmhouse living room day. In the living room, Kay sips some of her lemon and winces. Jay moves through the room, checking it out as Beatrice tells her story.
And they said to me, if he was murdered, how could he walk back in the house? And I must admit, I was a little stumped by that one, but I know Edgar, and that wasn't him. It was more like something else was wearing him, like a suit, an Edgar suit.
Little giggle escapes her at the thought. Jay over by the bookcase knows a framed photo of Edgar kneeling in the woods, probably about to skin a deer.
Damn. he was this ugly before he was an alien?
Sorry.
Go on.
Anyway, when I came to, he was gone.
Did you say anything?
Yes, he asked for water. Sugar water, if I remember.
Sugar water?
Did you taste her lemonade?
Kay nods, puts on his sunglasses, sticks on another pair, hands them to Jay. Kay draws the neuralizer. Flash. Beatrice freezes, staring at it straight ahead as if hypnotized. Kay takes Jay's glasses off and hands them back to him.
Ray-Bans. Okay, Beatrice, there was no alien. And the flash of light you saw in the sky wasn't a UFO. Swamp gas in your weather balloon was trapped in a thermal pocket and refracted the light from Venus.
Whoa, that thing erases her memory and you give her a new one?
Standard issue neuralizer.
And that's the best you can come up with.
On a more personal note, Beatrice, Edgar ran off with an old girlfriend. You're going to go stay at your mother's for a few days and get over it, and you decide you're better off.
Yeah, and you're better off because he never appreciated you anyway. In fact, you kicked him out. And now that he's gone, you ought to buy some new clothes and maybe hire a decorator or something.
Exterior farmhouse day. Kay is in the hole where the ship landed, investigating. He holds a pocket spectral analyzer over a section of scorched earth. The analyzer shifts colors, red and yellow.
Hey, okay. When am I going to get one of those memory things?
The spectral analyzer turns blue,
When you grow up, please not green.
purple, and then green. Kay closes his eyes and sits back, leaning against the dirt. Above him, Jay leans over, staring down. Kay looks up at him.
You know what alien life form leaves a green spectral trail?
Wait, don't tell me. That was the question on Final Jeopardy last night.
At the car, Kay snatches up the radio handset and keys the microphone.
Zed, we have a bug.
He turns off the radio and sighs. Jay stands next to him.
I'm going to jump way past you and just guess that this is bad, right?
Bugs thrive on carnage, Tiger. They consume, infest, and destroy. They live off the death and decay of other species.
So basically, you have a racial problem with all insect-based life forms.
Listen, kid, imagine a giant cockroach, 4 or 5 times smarter than Albert Einstein, 4 times stronger than an ox, 9 times meaner than hell, strutting his stuff around Manhattan Island in a brand new Edgar suit. That sound like fun?
What do we do?
The bug in town. Watch the morgues.
Exterior, Lesko's diner, day. Rosenberg, the jewelry store owner, steps out of the cab in the meatpacking district, still carrying the ornate box and his beloved cat. He heads into Lesko's, a Russian diner. A moment later, the Orkin van pulls to a stop across the street. Interior Lesko's diner. Rosenberg comes to the tiny restaurant, squinting into relative darkness. At the table in the middle, he sees a man eating alone, an enormous, dignified, yet profoundly strange-looking man in his mid-50s. Rosenberg walks carefully over the table but does not sit down. The man, an Arquillian, and for Eagle Eye, recognize him as the alien on a diplomatic mission from passport control. Rises from his chair, he steps forward to face Rosenberg, who sets an ornate box on the table. Immediately, Rosenberg's cat jumps on top of it. Rosenberg and the Arquillian stare at each other for a long moment, and then embrace each other. The embrace is an odd formal quality to it, like mafiosi coming to a sit down. They hold on long and hard, and both seem choked with emotion. Finally, they break apart and take their seats. They speak in a bizarre alien tongue, with a subtitle. Rosenberg wipes away tears.
Sorry I'm late. The cab drivers on this planet are terrible.
Your Majesty, you're in grave danger.
Yeah, and they overcharge you every time.
Yeah. Sir, a bug landed here. You must get off the planet.
A bug? He must know why I'm here.
He does. Is that what I think it is?
No, just some diamonds for your children. Do we have time to eat?
The Arquillian relaxes.
I ordered you some pierogi.
Interior Lesko's diner, kitchen. In the kitchen, the Russian cook slaps 2 orders of pierogi up on the stainless steel counter. Table 6 is up and turns away, back to the grill. A hand reaches in, takes the plate, and sets them on a tray. We follow the tray, but we see only the right arm and an aproned midsection of the waiter carrying it. He carries the tray along to the counter toward a pair of swinging doors that lead out to the restaurant. The door swings in as another waiter sweeps into the kitchen, and our waiter heads out into the dining area. As the door swings closed behind him, they reveal storage cells crammed with bags of rice, cans of stewed tomatoes, and a dead waiter, literally folded in half and stuffed among the shelves. Interior Leshko's diner, Rosenberg and the Arquillian raise their glass in the toast.
Did you reign the Arquillian Empire?
The safety of the galaxy.
They clink glasses and drink. Just as the waiter arrives, still we see only his arms and midsection. As he sets a tray on a stand and lifts a place of pierogi, he carries them to the table and sets them down. Rosenberg, setting his glass down next to the plate, catches a glimpse of the waiter's hand. Just as an enormous silverfish bug slithers out of the waiter's sleeve and scurries across the table, the glass slips out of Rosenberg's hand, dumping wine all over the table. He looks up slowly and sees the waiter's face. It's Edgar. Another half dozen insects of all variety tumble out of Edgar's sleeves and scurry across the table. Rosenberg and the Arquillian freeze, paralyzed with fear. They seem to know what dire implications Edgar's presence holds.
You can kill us both, but you will not find it.
Edgar smiles.
You're right about one thing.
Suddenly, a long singer whips out from under the back of Edgar's apron and zips under the table. First, Rosenberg and then the Arquillian lurch forward their chairs, their faces contorting in pain. They both pitch forward, their faces slocking into a fresh pierogi. The stinger snaps out from under the table and whips back under Edgar's apron. He moves quickly, searching their pockets, but he doesn't find what he's looking for. The cat, still perched on top of the ornate box, hisses at him. Edgar reaches out and bats the cat away with one vicious swipe of his hand. The animal howls and flies across the room, landing in the woman's lunch. The woman screams. Now other diners' attention is drawn to Edgar's table, where two obviously dead men are being robbed by a waiter. There are shouts of outrage. A few men rise out of their seats. Edgar grabs the ornate box and tries to open it, but finds it locked. With their fur rising around him, he shoves the box under one arm and bolts for the door. Rosenberg's cat leaps back on the table and snarls at him as he goes. Exterior Leshko's diner day. Later, in the Russian diner is now a crime scene clustered with cops and flashing lights. 3 bodies, now on stretchers and covered with sheets, are being loaded into the back of the ambulances. Rosenberg's cat races out of a uniformed cop's arms and leaps onto one of the stretchers, meowing mournfully. The uniformed cops turn to a police inspector who is questioning the woman from the diner.
What am I supposed to do with this cat?
I don't know. Send it with a stiff. Let family claim it.
The cop nods and follows the stretcher with Rosenberg's body onto the back on one of the ambulances, allowing the cat to ride on the chest of its dead owner for the time being. The doors of the wagon slam shut. Interior morgue corridor day. The stretcher with the corpse on it is wheeled down a corridor to police headquarters. Rosenberg's cat, still on his chest, meows curiously as the stretcher approaches 2 doors with City Morgue written across them. The word split in half as the stretcher bangs through the doors. Interior morgue day. The city morgue is crowded, brightly lit, crowded a place with corpses parked left and right. Busy day in the Apple. The cop wheeling the stretcher calls out onto the coroner, who is hunched over another body.
Where do you want contestant number 3?
The coroner turns around. It's Dr. Laurel Lieber, the woman who tried to speak to Jay before. She sighs and waves a hand.
By the wall, I guess. What's with the cat?
Oh, the cat. Well, there's a problem with the cat. Sign here.
Laurel signs this clipboard.
What's the problem with the cat?
Your problem.
Laurel gives him a dirty look, but he laughs and leaves. She goes over to the stretcher and bends down, petting Rosenberg's cat gently.
Are you having a bad day, baby? Cheer up. His is worse.
She sets the cat aside and wheels the stretcher under the lights.
Okie dokie, shall we?
Interior morgue later that day, Laurel is hunched over the corpse, the only light in the room coming from the overhead spot that illuminates her work. Fascinated by something, she digs deeper and deeper and looks up, her face a mixture of alarm and excitement.
Oh my God.
Exterior morgue, night. Case LTD pulls up in front of the morgue. Interior morgue corridor, night. 2 men in black suits hurry down the stairs and into the corridor outside the morgue. They hasten down the hallway, their shoes clicking in perfect lockstep, heading for those swinging doors at the other end. J and K, men in black, on a mission. Interior morgue, night. In the morgue, Laurel has fallen asleep on her desk. Her head in her arms, Rosenberg's cat sits on the desk next to her. licking its paws. Suddenly, the cat looks up, meowing urgently. Laurel looks up and, following the cat's gaze, turns around slowly in her chair. Jay and Kay stand in the doorway, staring at her. Kay steps forward, holding out that black card again, and it reforms to another kind of official ID, and this time it says Department of Public Health.
Approximately 112 degrees at time of autopsy, indicating quite impossibly a post-mortem increase in body temperature. Examiner attempted to verify result rectally, only to find subject was without rectum, which can only be described as, well, as really
Weird. Dr. Leo Manville, Department of Public Health. This is Dr. White.
She looks up. Jay and Kay are standing there.
Yeah, well, whoever you are, I'm afraid I'm going to need to see some ID.
He hands her his carte noire, which changes read Dr. Menville, Department of Public Health. She hands it back.
You boys must not have much of a home life.
Yeah, we watch the morgues very carefully. You got something unusual?
I'd say so. Triple homicide.
She gets up and goes to the Arquillian's body, which is still out on a table under the lights.
The first corpse was perfectly normal, except that he was broken in half. But when I opened up the other two, well, look.
He throws back the sheet, revealing to them only, not us, the fully dissected Arquillian. Kay raises an eyebrow. Jay narrowly retches.
There is skeletal structure at work here, unlike anything I've ever seen.
Kay steps past her, going straight to the body. He begins to examine it.
I'll have a look at this one. Dr. White, why don't you and Dr. Weaver check out the other body?
This way, doctor.
Jane rolled across the room to where Rosenberg's corpse lies out on another gurney.
This one's even stranger. I did a full laparotomy. I started with the lesser curvature of the stomach, though, if you want, we could begin at the gastroesophageal junction.
I think we should start at the same place you did.
All right.
Jay hears him meow. He looks down. Rosenberg's cat is rubbing against his leg.
Your cat?
Guess it is now. Came with the bodies.
She snaps one of her rubber gloves and reaches down, out of frame, sinking her hands into her body as she moves things aside. Just by the look on Jay's face, one can imagine how disgusting it is. Laurel digs in up to her elbows. Jay winces. She pulls one bloody glove out to wipe a strand of hair out of her face. He looks at her, and she winks at him. He's surprised. She laughs.
Okay. Dive right in. God knows he won't mind.
Jay is reluctant, so she rolls her eyes and helps him, taking him by the hand and guiding him into the quick thick of the corpse.
You have very pretty eyes.
Thank you. But is this really the time to, come on to me?
Hey, just walking the dog. Feel that? Where the pyloric junction would be?
Oh, yes. Exactly.
Now push that aside. Notice anything strange? Stomach, liver, lungs?
Nope. All fine.
Doctor, they're all missing.
Well, of course they are. What I'm pointing out is that there are no pieces of them left. So they're intact, wherever they are, that we can be sure of.
Have we met before? I have the strangest feeling of deja vu.
I was just going to ask you the same thing.
Laurel looks at him sideways, skeptical but also intrigued. She whispers to him, confiding in him.
Okay, you want to know what I really think? Don't tell that guy. He looks like he's already under enough stress. This body is really not a body, but it's actually some sort of transport unit for something else altogether. The question is, what?
Jay just looks at her intrigued.
By the way, stop me if I'm freaking you out.
No, not at all.
After a particularly gross, gushy sound, he looks away toward her. She's staring at him. Laura leans over and lowers her voice just for him.
You know what I like to do sometimes? When it's really late?
No.
From the other side of the room, Kate clears his throat.
Excuse me.
He walks across the morgue to Kate, who's still examining the Arquillian, but Jay never takes his eyes off Laurel.
What do you think?
Very interesting. Got a real queen of the undead thing going on.
For the body.
Great body.
The dead body.
Not a clue.
All right, we'll keep her occupied. Try not to sound too dumb.
Across the morgue, Laurel is still examining Rosenberg, now bent down next to his head, carefully studying his left ear. She notices something strange, turns and calls over her shoulder to Jay.
Dr. White!
Jay, in conversation with Kay, does not respond to what is not his
Dr.
name.
White! Dr. White!
Still doesn't answer.
Dr. White!
Kay nudges Jay.
You're up, Slugger.
Jay turns around and races across the room to rejoin her.
Look at this.
Jay leans down. This is a strange stitching around the base of Rosenberg's ear.
What is that?
He reaches out, touches the air, then he actually turns it. With a soft click, it pulls away from the head like a latch. Jay and Laura look at each other, astonished. Jay pulls again, and Rosenberg's entire face pushes out. When a mechanical hum then hinges open, the whole face rotating out from the rest of the artificial skull. A tiny little green man sits inside Rosenberg's head. Though not quite dead, the tiny little green man is gravely wounded. He staggers out from a small control room inside Rosenberg's head, with gear shifts and viewing screens all around the inside of the skull.
Far freaking out.
Leaning closer, tiny little green man, abolition, forces words out of his mouth.
Must to prevent contest? No, to prevent.
It's all right. What are you trying to say? Struggle?
War?
Abolition nods vigorously. That's it.
Galaxion or Orion's, what is word? Be
Bed? Belt? Ryan's belt?
The Abolition nods again, falls and dies. Jay and Laura look at the little dead alien, then at each other.
To prevent war, the galaxy is on Orion's belt? The hell does that mean? Hey, Kay. Doctor, whatever. Come here.
Kay begins over. Laura looks at them.
Dr. Whatever? You're not with the Department of Public Health, are you?
Jay shakes his head, but is now paying more attention to Kay as he leads him toward the little man.
He's dead.
Kay looks at the mess, the body of the little dead man.
Rosenberg. Damn. Good man.
You knew him?
One of the few I actually liked. Exiled High Prince.
I was right. This is an alien life form, and you're from some government agency who wants to keep it all under wraps.
Kay and Jay are not paying attention to Laurel.
He said to prevent war, the galaxy is on Orion's belt.
This makes total sense. How else do you explain New York? The other night, I'm in this cab. This guy, he comes...
Flash. Without even looking at her, Kay whips out his neuralizer and blanks her out.
There was a galaxy on Orion's belt. That makes no sense.
That's what he said. Didn't he? Right after he... Oh, for Christ's sake. You did the Flash thing already.
Hi. Whoever you guys are. I'm afraid I'm going to need to see some ID if you're going to be in the morgue, okay?
Oh, sure, sweetheart. Here you go.
Flash. He neuralizes her again. Jay slaps his head. Man.
Stop that.
What? Too much caffeine. Get a life.
That thing could probably give her brain cancer.
I never heard it before.
Never heard it before? How many times have you done that Flash thing to this poor woman?
Couple.
Aren't you worried about, long-term damage?
A little bit.
What the hell happened to make you such a callous son of a bitch?
I took this job.
He heads out. Jay follows.
Hey, you never flashed me with that thing, did you?
Nope.
Exterior morgue. Night. Jane and Kay exit the morgue and walk towards their car.
Hey, Kay. I really think I should be in charge of the flashy memory thing department.
Not while I'm around, Slim.
Yeah. Well, you're a menace with that thing.
An MIB containment vehicle pulls up and 4 men dressed in black suits get out.
We got 2 dead aliens in there and a deputy medical coroner and need a new memory. Make it a happy memory. Huh?
Exterior, New York alley, night. The Orchid man is packed in an alleyway somewhere downtown. From inside, throaty wails of frustration can be heard. 2 passerby hear the racket and hesitate, wondering if they should get involved. But an inhuman growl roused the whole band, and they wise up, hurrying on their way. Interior, Orkin van, New York alley, night. Inside the van, the ornate rosewood box is now battered and scarred its various locks, holding tight against Edgar's repeated attempts to claw his way into it. Crammed into the back of the van along with a spaceship, Edgar wedges a screwdriver into the thin opening between the top and the rest of the box and smacks it with his right fist. Nothing doing. He bellows in rage and hurls the box against the side of the van, where it finally cracks a hinge. Edgar snaps it up, pries the rest of the hinge off with the screwdriver, and wrenches the top of the box. Inside there are dozens of precious glittering diamonds, which he promptly tosses aside as worthless, but the rest of the box is empty.
No, 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 no!
He rips the box apart with his bare hands. There's nothing else there. Exterior MIB building, magic hour. As Lower Manhattan is waking up, J and K enter the building. Interior MIB building headquarters early morning. Despite the early hour, the headquarters is going full blast. A large screen displays a familiar grouping of stars as the constellation Orion. J and K hurry in. K peels off to one of the monitors. J heads for Zed.
Doesn't anybody believe in sleep around here?
The twins keep us on an Alpha Centaurian time, a 37-hour day. Give it a few months, you'll get used to it, or you'll have a psychotic episode.
He points up at the screen with a laser pencil.
Here's Orion, the brightest grouping of stars in the northern sky. And here's Orion's belt.
He indicates it's the 3 stars that make up the belt.
That's what the little guy was talking about. To prevent war, the galaxy on Orion's belt.
There are no galaxies on Orion's belt. The belt is just these 3 stars. Galaxies are huge, made up of billions of stars. You heard wrong.
You're attracted to me, aren't you?
They start to cross over to another monitor where Kay is sitting alone, the tie loosened, slightly disheveled on the screen. The word searching blinks, encouraging patience. The image changes to a satellite view of North America, which quickly zooms in on the southwest. On the screen, the satellite view zooms down to Arizona, then a city, then a neighborhood, then a block, then a backyard. Then the printout changes to subject acquired. The image comes into sharp focus on one backyard in particular, where we get a good look at a middle-aged woman. Subject, Elizabeth Ann Reston. Present location, residence, 553 Fairfield Avenue, Temple, Arizona. Whoever Elizabeth Ann Reston is, she's lovely. She's setting a picnic table in her backyard at the moment, unaware that she's being watched by an eye in the sky, just as Kay is unaware that Jay is standing behind him. Jay notices the monitor with the middle-aged woman on it. He looks at Kay's expression and back at the monitor.
Pretty lady.
Kay clicks out the picture of her. Jay drags a chair and sits down.
You were the guy with the flowers in the photo. The night the aliens arrived? What? You're on your way to a dance or something and you got lost? And she never got those flowers, did she?
Kay doesn't answer, just stares at the screen. Elizabeth looks up as if she knows she's being watched, but she's just looking at the sky, wondering how many stars will be out tonight.
Grumpy guy's story comes into focus. Should you ever get married?
No.
It's more than Cake and Bear. He reaches out and flicks a switch. The monitor goes blank, except for a data screen. Subject lost. Kay sits back in the chair and eats a potato chip morosely. Kay looks at him. Does this mean 30 years? A moment goes by. Finally.
Well, you know what they say. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have.
Right.
Okay.
Jay and Kay cross back toward the landed alien display, where each of the 1,000 or so aliens who live on Earth are represented by a flickering light. Some lights are starting to go out.
You're leaving.
We've had 12 jumps in the last hour. Red Gick was just the beginning.
What do they know that we don't know?
Kay looks to his partner, then to the screen. Another flight flickers out.
Way to rats desert the ship. Go to LIMSAT 4. Put up a 40-field view of Manhattan.
On the screen, New York City is just a bright spot of light on the eastern coast of the United States.
400.
Now there's a view of the Earth from space, nothing unusual.
4,000.
Now we're looking at Earth from far, far away, and from here we can see something that doesn't belong in this picture, a battle cruiser far off to one side of the Earth. The words Level 4 are flashed in red letters on the side of the map.
That's an Archelian battle cruiser.
And we've got a dead Archelian prince.
A communication starts coming over the speakers, a sound like a cat and a mouse caught in a blender.
Message coming in.
The communication continues.
No, speak of the devil.
Communication continues.
They sound pissed.
Translate that and step on it. Meanwhile, get down to Rosenberg's store and see what you can turn up.
Kay and Jay walk away.
And Kay, give the kid a weapon.
In the equipment locker, Kay pulls out the enormous many-barreled handgun. A small clear canister sprouts from underneath it. Malicious swirling gases visible through its walls.
I like them.
Series 4 deatomizer.
Kay pulls out another weapon, the tiniest gun we've ever seen.
Here we go. This is the noisy cricket.
You get a Series 4 deatom mixer, and I get a noisy cricket? I'm afraid I'm about to break this thing.
Jay follows Kay out, glancing back to see the huge gun turrets on the Arquillian battle cruiser hum and whir as they swing around to the position, pointed down at the unwitting planet below. Interior gem and jewelry store day, smashed, window in the front door of Rosenberg's jewelry shop collapses in a shower of glass. Edgar reaches in and fumbles with the locks, undoing them one by one. He gets them all and steps inside. Out of the window behind him, we see his Orkin van double parked in a street in front. All the gems and jewels are under glass counters. Edgar starts smashing the glass, grabbing great handfuls of jewels and tossing them aside. Outside, a New York City tow truck pulls up in front of the Orkin van and starts to hitch up. Edgar, in his range, starts to smash anything breakable, even the framed picture on the walls. He stops at one particular picture, staring intently at it. It's a glamour shot of Rosenberg's cat, provocatively posed on a satin pillow. There are half a dozen more pictures of the cat, some posed with Rosenberg, some by itself. The animal is important to Rosenberg. From outside, the roar of an engine distracts Edgar. He turns around in time to see the Orkin van lurch as the tow lifts its front wheels off the ground. Exterior gem and jewelry store. Edgar rushes out as the tow truck driver gets the van up on the hoist.
That's my truck.
Yeah, and make sure you tell them that at the impound.
Edgar reaches into the front seat of the van and pulls out his 12 gauge. He points it at the tow truck driver. The tow truck driver looks at him with disdain and pulling back his shirt reveals a mean-looking gun.
Please.
He keeps hitching up the van. Two pedestrians walk past at the speed, very fast, ignoring the debate. Headed right for the shop, we go with them and realize that it's Jay and Kay. They stop at the smashed door of the jewelry shop and exchange a glance. Kay pulls a menacing-looking weapon, nods, and they step inside. Interior gem and jewelry store. They look around to see the recent demolition caused by Edgar. Jay first was bro.
Who robs a jewelry store and leaves the jewels?
Someone who's not looking for jewels.
Jay moves behind the counter on the floor as an ornate, empty bowl and a bag of cat food. Next to a scrumptious pillow, there are several photos of a cat on the wall. There's also a pile of bejeweled cat collars. Jay picks up one of the collars, inspects it closely, shaking his head.
This guy had a serious crush on his cat.
Jay's attention is broken by something in the window outside, lumbering straight toward the store's Edgar. Jay thinks for a moment, well, where does he know that face? Suddenly, Edgar raises his arms, pointing both the farmer's rifle and the driver's shotgun. Before Edgar can shoot, Jay yells,
Jay, get down!
And then Jay fires, shattering the storefront window and blowing up a car in the street. The blast hurls him up and back a good 10 feet, slamming him into the wall with tremendous force. Edgar turns and rushes away down the street as Jay picks himself up.
The bug in the Edgar suit. The ugly redneck from the picture. That's him.
Jay leaps through the broken storefront window and after Edgar.
Damn it.
Cade runs out after Jay. Exterior gem and jewelry store. Edgar doesn't bother sticking around to continue his fight. He jumps behind the wheel of the tow truck, starts it up, and hits the gas. The engine roars. Jay sprints after him, firing his noisy cricket. He is thrown back into some pedestrian while he's shot. Hits the rigging between the Orkin van and the tow truck, separating the two. Jay pulls himself up and sprints after the tow truck, but it escalates too quickly. Edgar is just about to turn the corner when Jay leaps onto a parked car to try and get some height. As Jay prepares to shoot, Edgar disappears around the corner and a huge truck backs into the line of fire. Jay fires, the truck explodes, and Jay flies backwards, hurling to the air and crashing into the window of a car, his rear and right in the woman's driver's face. When Jay looks up, Kay is standing before him. He yanks Jay out of the car.
We do not discharge our weapons in view of the public.
Can we drop the cover of bullshit? There's an alien battle cruiser that's gonna blow up the world if we don't.
There's always an alien battle cruiser, or a Carillion death ray, or an intergalactic plague that's gonna wipe out life on this planet. The only thing that lets people get on with their hopeful little lives is they do not know about it.
Kay gestures to a group of onlookers, drawn by curious blasphemous stories, smoking rubble everywhere.
Well, don't worry about the bug. He's not leaving town. We got a ship.
After gesturing to the back of the Orkin van, where Edgar's spaceship is neatly stowed, Kay pulls out his cell phone.
Zed, we're going to need a containment crew down here at McDougal, south of Houston.
Interior MIB building headquarters day. Back at that Men in Black headquarters, little lights on the world map which indicate aliens' locations are going out one by one, about one every 5 or 10 seconds. A warning buzzer is sounding over and over, and human staffers are rushing left and right, Zen in his office.
Containment may be a moot point, my friend. The exodus continues. It's like the party's over and the last one to leave gets stuck with the check.
Zen looks down to the vast floor below and sees the 4 warm guys with suitcases walking across the floor.
You sorry little ingrates!
What about the Archelians?
We've only translated a part of the message so far. Deliver the galaxy.
Oh, they don't want much, do they?
Oh, it gets better. They're holding us responsible.
He looks up at the screen. It reads, MIB, deliver the galaxy.
Another contestant has entered the ring.
Exterior New York Street, outside jewelry store. As Kay puts away his phone, turns to Jay.
All right, kid, the Archelians want the galaxy, whatever the hell that means. Someone with years of experience in intergalactic politics. I just hope a little prick hasn't skipped town.
Exterior uptown newsstand day. The tow truck squeals to a halt to a curb. Edgar gets out and walks away fast. Cursing under his breath, he rants, livid, thinking hard. As he passes the newsstand, he grabs a news vendor by the collar.
Where do you keep your dad?
I don't have any dead.
Wow.
I don't know, city morgue?
Edgar shoves him away roughly, but before he leaves, his eye catches a postcard display marked landmarks in New York City area. Edgar stares fascinated, but we don't see what he's looking at. He reaches out and picks up a color postcard. He raises it to his face, thinking, and shoves it in his pocket, and then hurries off. Exterior street kiosk. Kay's LTD screeches to a halt in front of the kiosk on Orchard Street. Jay and Kay leap out, and Jay spots the vendor closing up the shop. He's wearing a dirty cardigan, watch cap, and fingerless gloves. His face a quiver with tics and mannerisms. He has a small dog in front of him. Jay rolls his eyes as he steps up to the counter.
Of course that guy's an alien. That's got to be the worst disguise I've ever seen.
The voice answers him, but not the vendors.
You don't like it, you can kiss my furry little butt.
Jay looks down. The voice is coming from the dog. This is Frank the pug. Kay approaches, motioning to Jay to make sure no one hears.
Busy, Frank?
Sorry, Kay, I can't talk right now. My ride's leaving and...
Kay grabs Frank. He yelps like, a dog.
Call the pound, we got a stray.
Hey, get your paws off me.
Passerbys glare at Kay, who appears to be seriously mistreating this poor little dog. Jay tries to explain.
The dogs owe my friend some money.
Archelians and bugs, what do you know?
I know nothing.
Not a thing?
Kay shakes Frank the pug, trying to force an answer.
Stop it. Okay. Rosenberg wasn't some two-bit Archelian. He was the guardian of the galaxy. They thought he would be safe here on Earth.
The bug had other plans.
The galaxy is the best source of subatomic energy in the universe. If the bugs get their slimy claws on it, kiss the Archelians goodbye.
Ask him about the belt.
Rosenberg said something about a galaxy on Orion's belt. What's he talking about, Frank?
Beats me.
Beats you?
Kay shakes the Frank the pug once more.
They're rehearsing a ventriloquist act.
The galaxy is here.
What do you mean here?
The galaxy is hundreds of millions of stars and planets. How is it here?
If the dog can smirk, Frank does.
You humans, when are you going to learn that size doesn't matter? Just because something's important doesn't mean it's not very, very small.
How small?
Tiny, like the size of a marble or a jewel. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to be walked before the flight.
Jay lets go of Frank, turns to Jay, who's lost in thought.
All right, get out of here. Galaxy's here. It's not on Orion's belt.
Jay suddenly notices Frank the Pug bark at a cat farther down the sidewalk.
Okay.
Interior morgue day. In the morgue, Laurel's working at a desk. Suddenly, Rosenberg's cat leaps up and from nowhere the way cats do, landing right in the middle of the file she's studying. Laurel jumps.
Boy, when you want attention.
She pets the cat as she does. The cat's collar shines in the light. Laurel turns his name tag to face her. Close on a precious jewel in the word Orion, as it is written across the collar of the cat.
Orion. That's a pretty name.
From out in the corridor, a bell rings. Ding, ding. Laurel notices something dangling from the cat's collar, a circular icon of a strange and beautiful metal. The center is some sort of hardened, translucent material, light green in color.
What's this?
He peers into the jewel, and her face watches over with amazement. Interior icon day. It's as if Laurel is sucked into another universe. Her face goes beautifully blank as she sails through a massive star field, millions of stars, billions of green, verdant planets, all racing by her at the speed of light. Interior morgue day.
Wow.
Outside, the bell dings again. Orion looks up as if knowing who's out there and not liking it. She snarls at the door and leaps off the desk, scurrying across the lab and disappearing under some equipment. Interior exterior LTD Manhattan day. Jane and Carol barrel through the town.
I'm sorry, I lost my place. The page number. Mm-hmm. So 2 galaxies have been fighting for years, and the only people who've been benefiting are a race of creatures called bugs. Then the 2 galaxies decide to make peace, and the bugs send this guy down to make sure the fighting never stops.
By killing the emissaries and stealing the galaxy they've been fighting about.
And if we don't get it back before he leaves the planet, we're history.
Not even history, because history implies that someone's around to remember it.
Interior morgue corridor. On a counter in the morgue corridor, a gray peeling hand bangs on a bell on a countertop over and over. The hand belongs to Edgar, who is carrying his shotgun, concealing it behind one leg. The morgue attendant, Tony, emerges from a small security cage carrying a worn paperback copy of Atlas, Shrug, and a fly swatter. Thank you for making sure the bell works. Suddenly, quick as a gunfighter, Tony snaps the fly swatter down on a buzzing fly. Edgar winces. What's up, Farmer John?
A man came in here earlier. A dead man.
And this means what to me?
He was a very dear friend of mine. I believe we had an animal with him. A gift I gave him. Pet cat. Means worlds to me. I would like it back.
Only the picture ID, written proof of ownership of the cat, or notarized proof of kingship with whack. Tony flicks the fly swatter again, saying another bug to meet its maker. Edgar greets his teeth. The deceased.
Don't do that.
Whack. Still another fly goes down. Do what? Tony looks down to where Edgar's hands rest on the counter. Half a dozen cockroaches stream out of his sleeve. Shit! He ducks under the counter and comes up with a can of Raid. Edgar's eyes bug out. Exterior morgue day. K's LTD pulls to a stop in front of the morgue, and J and K jump out.
I'll handle this one. You wait outside.
The hell for?
Because all we have to do is walk in and get a cat. It's not that hard. But if you go in, you're going to lay your jackweb on her and flash your brain ray in her face, and she's going to end up with leukemia or some shit. The woman's a doctor. She doesn't need you erasing half her med school classes. Take me 5 minutes.
And he continues into the morgue, leaving Kay waiting outside.
2 minutes.
Interior morgue day. Laurel slams to a wall on the side of the morgue, thrown there by Edgar. He leans in close, furious.
Where's the animal?
Told you, I don't know. It ran under some equipment. Over there.
Get it.
He grabs her roughly and drags her across the morgue toward the equipment she's pointing to. As he draws close, Orion, the cat, bolts from underneath it, raises between her legs and leapfrogs over several small cabinets, landing on top of a very tall one with only 6 inches clearance between it and the ceiling, a very tough hiding place. Edgar just starts to turn when they hear the bell and a voice from the corridor outside.
Hello? Anybody here?
Edgar looks up at the cat's hiding place. No time to get it. The bell dings again.
Hello.
Roughly, Edgar pulls Laurel close and puts a finger to his lips. Shh. Interior morgue corridor. In the corridor, Jay looks around. No Tony, no answer to the bell. He dings once more, then heads into the back. Interior morgue. Jay comes to the morgue. Laurel is in there, standing right up next to the examination table, but there's no corpse on the table, just a sheet draped over it. She just stands there in the middle of the room, staring at Jay.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Sergeant Friday from the 26th precinct. They brought a cat in here with a corpse the other day. Might have said Orion on the cat's name tag.
Yes, that's right.
Right. Well, the cat's a witness in a murder case, and I'm going to need to take it with me.
I don't know where the cat is at the moment.
You don't?
No. Maybe you could take me with you instead.
Excuse me?
I said maybe you could take me with you instead.
Damn. You do start fast, don't you?
I'd really like to go with you. Now.
He just looks at her, amazed at the power he seems to have over this woman. He looks over his shoulder to make sure he has a few more seconds alone.
And, why exactly is that?
Laurel rolls her eyes. She seems irritated with him, but doesn't go with what he's saying.
I just do.
Interior morgue corridor. Kay comes down the stairs into the morgue corridor. He checks his watch and leans against the counter and pulls out a pack of cigarettes, waiting. Interior morgue. Jay is thoroughly enjoying himself, but Laurel seems to be going crazy.
I have something I need to show you.
Looks down, pointedly in the direction of her waist.
No, now slow down. You don't have to hit the gas like that.
She leans in and lowers her voice.
You don't understand. You really need to see this.
And I will. But we got to get something straight here. I'm going to drive. It's not some kind of macho trip. It's just the way I'm used to doing things, okay?
Interior morgue corridor. Kay pulls out a box of matches and strikes one on the side. He raises it to his cigarette. But as it draws close, the match goes out with a sharp sizzle. Kay furrows his brow. Odd. Interior morgue. Laurel's at the end of her rope.
Look, stud, I don't know how many more times I'm going to have to tell you this. There's something
He points sharply at the examination table directly in front of her.
that you have to help me with.
Jay's smile vanishes and his jaw drops as he figures it out. He starts to reach for his gun. Interior morgue corridor. Kay raises another lit match from a cigarette, but as this one gets close, a big glob of goo drops from the ceiling and onto the match, dousing the flame. Kay looks up sharply. Above him, Tony, the counter guy, is stuck to the one high corner of the ceiling by an enormous wad of vicious dripping fluid. He's dead, a frozen look of terror on his face, and a can of Ray still clutched in his hand. From inside the morgue, Laurel screams. Interior morgue. Kay races into the morgue just as the examination table explodes into the air, revealing Edgar, who is hiding beneath it. Now everything happens at once. Jay leaps back and draws the noisy cricket. Kay pulls out a Series 4 the atomizer, and Edgar holds a shotgun under Laurel's chin, using her body to shield his own.
Freeze it, Bug.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Christ, you are thick.
How was I supposed to know?
What did I have to do? Sing it for you?
Maybe if you didn't come on like a drunken prom date.
Oh, that's so typical. Anytime a woman shows the slightest hint of sexual independence, men just...
Everybody shut up.
Let her go, shit eater.
Listen, monkey boy, I may have to take that kind of talk in my end of the universe, but compared to you humans, I'm the top of the evolutionary ladder. So, can it, all right?
Breaking my heart. Move 6 inches to your left and I'll solve all your problems.
Orion, the cat, suddenly attacks, leaping off the top of the cabinet, landing on Edgar, hissing and scratching and clawing for all she's worth. Edgar snaps an arm up and whips her off. The cat squirms in his arms, the icon jangling. Edgar grabs the icon, holds on to it, and flings the cat across the morgue. The icon comes free, remaining in his hand. He drops it into his mouth, swallows. He shoves the gun hard against Laurel's cheek.
That's better. Now put down your weapons. We're leaving.
Kay freezes, teeth clenched, gun still in front of him. Standoff.
Have you ever pulled the wings off a fly?
Edgar cranks one of Laurel's arms behind her back hard, and she cries out in pain.
Would you care to see the fly get even?
How far do you think you're going to go without your ship? Let's see how that hunk of space crap we got locked up back in our office.
Put the weapons down.
Never gonna happen, insect.
Edgar backs away with Laurel, further into the morgue, toward a glass window that looks out at the base of an air shaft. J and K advance, slowly cornering him.
It's okay. Laurel,
How is it okay?
I mean, it's going to be okay.
Don't battle that meat sack.
And with that, he turns, leaps, and crashes right through the window into the air shaft. Exterior morgue, side street dusk. Edgar is still clutching Laurel, throws up over a railing. Nobody looks twice as Edgar, dragging Laurel with his arms over her mouth, races toward the nearby busy Manhattan street. Interior morgue, air shaft. J and K duck into the air shaft and look up. Too far to climb, and the walls are too smooth anyway.
Damn it.
They turn and run on the morgue. Exterior, the nearby busy Manhattan street. Edgar or Laurel runs right in front of the cab, which screeches to a halt inches from them. The cabbie sticks his head out and yells something in an unknown language. He keeps yelling as Edgar reaches for the passenger side and pulls the cabbie out the door, a cigarette and wooden seat beds and all. The cab driver, still yelling at Edgar, leaps in, pushing Laurel in before him, leaving her behind the wheel. He removes a postcard, the one he took from the display on the newsstand.
Take me here.
What?
Edgar just cranks the car into gear, opening his mouth and swallowing in the icon, and in so doing revealing a triple row of serrated bug teeth. He slams his foot on the gas pedal. Laurel's head snaps back as the car rocks forward. She has no choice but to grab the wheel and start steering as the car screeches out into traffic, swerving wildly as Laurel is forced to make a 90-degree turn. The car fishtails wildly, swiping at an oncoming car as it straightens and heads into the traffic. The furious cab driver runs off after it, still yelling as he disappears around the corner. A second later, Kay and Jay rush out into the street. The cab is nowhere to be seen. Jay runs into the street, noticing the wooden beads, the ripped pine-scented green deodorizer, and a still burning cigarette.
They're in a cab.
And Jay starts running down the street where dozens of cabs are waiting at the intersection. He runs from cab to cab, pounding on the windows, scaring the living shit out of people.
Hey, Laurel, hey!
Below, Laurel and Edgar are nowhere to be found. Up ahead, the light turns green and the tide of taxis wash away, leaving Jay on the street. He turns as the car screeches up behind him, its headlights shining in his eyes. As he gets closer, Jay sees his K in the LTD.
Stop wasting time. He's not getting off the planet in a cab.
Interior MIB building headquarters. Jay and Kay rush in from the door under the World's Fair mural and head towards the main display screen. All around them, the MIB staffers are in frenetic activity in response to a threat from above.
Come with me, put up a bionet all the way around Manhattan. It's not human. It's not leaving the island. What do we got from our friends upstairs?
Same thing. Deliver the galaxy.
Yeah, well, the bug's got the galaxy, but we got his ship. We got what he's looking. He's looking for a way out.
Just in a loud alarm wails. At the main viewing screen, a green line shoots out from the Arquillian ship, striking a region of planet Earth. Interior MIB building headquarters night. Headquarters everywhere, where every bell, whistle, and light imaginable is going off.
What the hell are they shooting us for?
Arquillian battle rules, kid. First we get an ultimatum, then a warning shot. Then we have a galactic standard week to respond.
A galactic standard week? How the hell long is that?
1 hour.
1 hour?
Viewing the screen, it now reads, MIB, deliver the galaxy or the Earth will be destroyed. Sorry.
Keep the bugs from getting it, the Arquillians will destroy the galaxy and whatever planet it's on.
You're talking about us?
Sucks, doesn't it?
Pull up locations of all land-based interstellar vehicles.
They're all gone. Frank the Pug took the last ship off the planet.
As King and Zed watch as the machine scrolls through the data, Jay walks back towards the center of the room. Deep in dot, over him we hear,
Atlantic City.
Gone.
Landfill on Jersey Shore.
Gone.
Gentlemen?
Epcot.
Gone.
Miami Beach.
Gone.
Fellas.
Hartford.
Gone, thank God.
Hey, old guys.
King and Zed both look up at once, scowling.
Do those still work?
They followed his gaze over the computer terminals. There on the wall in front of them, where it has loomed over the entire movie, is the enormous mural of the 1964 World's Fairgrounds. Most prominent in the mural are two tall towers that rise dramatically from the ground, topped by two flying saucers from the very first alien contact. As they stand there, wide eyes staring at it, the exterior World's Fair night. The real live twin towers on the actual fairgrounds in the Flushing Meadows, a taxi screeches to a halt at the edge of a fence 100 yards away. Edgar shoves Laurel out to the driver's door and follows behind her, still holding his weapon on her.
You're coming with me.
What? Why?
It's a long trip. I'll need a snack.
And he shoves her ahead of him, off in the direction of the spaceships. Behind him, abandoned on the front seat of the cab, we finally see the front of the postcard he's been carrying around. Flushing Meadows, side of the 1964 World's Fair, as it says, with a distinctive photograph of the spaceships. So that's how he knew. Exterior, Columbus Circle, night. It's nighttime now, and the city hums along. Just another Thursday night. The clock in Columbus Circle says it's 7:45. 6th Avenue. TVs in the window of an appliance store show a rerun of Cheers. People laugh. Times Square. The news ticker in Times Square announces the latest shattering news. Rain likely. Temp drops to 60s. Earthlings pass left and right, blissfully unaware of their impending doom. Exterior MIB building at night. K and J leap into the K's LTD and slam the door. K jams the key in the ignition. The car roars to life, and he turns to J.
They say we bag us a bug.
He hits the gas, and the car rockets away from the curb. Exterior City Streets night. The LTD tears through the city. Interior MIB LTD traveling night. K turns sharply to the right, smacking J around, looking up ahead. He sees the entrance of the Midtown Tunnel.
You're taking the tunnel?
You know a better way to Queens?
It's usually jammed.
Exterior Midtown Tunnel night. The LTD races through the tunnel at top speed. It's clear, driving for a few seconds, but then around the bend, and there's a traffic jam up ahead. Interior MIB LTD traveling. K approaches the line of cars at top speed with no intention of slowing down. J, terrified, holds on for dear life.
I told you.
Jay, the button?
Yeah?
Where's the button, Jay?
A lighting panel rotates into place between the two front seats, and that red button flashes underneath its plastic shield again. Jay flips back the plastic cover and jams his finger down on the red flashing button.
And your man to throw on a seatbelt.
Exterior Midtown Tunnel MIB LTD. As the LTD rockets toward the traffic jam up ahead, begins to evolve its shape, actually changing. The sides and the back extend as some sort of endoskeleton pushes the normal panels out. It becomes a larger, wider machine held together by an elaborate series of mechanical muscles and metallic tendons. K's car hurtles towards certain death and traffic jam, but at last possible moment, it swerves off to the side, a sucking sound coming from underneath it. Instead of banging off the wall of the tunnel, the LTD actually clings to it. It swerves up onto the wall and hangs there, racing by the traffic below. It keeps going, turning all the way over and driving upside down, wheels clinging to the roof of the tunnel. MIB LTD traveling. Jay falls from the seat with a clunk onto the upside down ceiling of the car. Balled up on the back of his neck, he peers out the window as they tear through the tunnel, zooming over the bottleneck traffic underneath. As they race through the tunnel, they have a minute to kill.
Mind if I smoke?
What?
In the car, I mean.
I don't care.
It's just common courtesy. It bothers some people if you smoke in the car.
He lights a cigarette and blows the smoke out leisurely. One hand on the wheel, just waiting out the tunnel. Jay gives up, struggling to right himself, and closes his eyes, suffering through this. Exterior MIB LTD. From outside the car, we watch it rocket along on the roof of the tunnel. You can hear K's voice as he goes on and on.
Yeah, it's harder and harder to smoke anywhere these days. Hell, I suppose I should quit. I've tried. I never took, though. I'm beginning to think I lack self-control.
And he disappeared out of the other end of the tunnel. Interior MIB LTD traveling and flip over, banging back on the road on the other side. Jay falls off the ceiling and slams onto his seat.
Well, back to work.
He flips a cigarette out the window and cranks the wheel to the left. Exterior Midtown Tunnel toll booth. Approaching a toll booth, the LTD shoots across 9 lanes of traffic and through the city, only open booth shattering the gate, traveling about 200 miles an hour. Kane nonchalantly flips a token out the window, and it chinks in the basket as their tailgates disappear. Cut to exterior World's Fair landing tower. Edgar climbs the outside landing tower on one of the spaceships, pushing Laurel up ahead of him, headed for the saucer at the top.
Come on, let me go. You don't want to eat me. I'm a very important person on my planet. Like a queen. A goddess, even. There are those who worship me. Yes. I'm not trying to impress you with this. I'm just letting you know. You could start a war.
Good. War means food for my family. All 78 million of them. That's a lot of mouths to feed, Your Highness.
You're a wonderful dad.
And with that, she kicks him squarely in the face. He reels momentarily, losing his grip on her. She takes advantage of the moment and flings herself out into the air. Edgar flails, but she is beyond his reach. He falls, tumbling through the air, and lands in the branches of a tree. She hits hard, her branches rattling, and reaches out and hangs on for dear life, high above the ground. Above Edgar just keeps climbing. Exterior rolls fair, night. Over at the fence, the LTT comes to a long, skidding stop at the fairgrounds. At the trunk, Jane and Kay flip open the trunk and scarf up whatever weapons look at most dangerous. Kay grabs a black box, unsnaps a row of latches, and opens it, revealing the most wicked-looking shotgun on the planet. 3 feet long, triple-barreled, over and under, piles a pump-action reloader on top of the storage clip for a dozen more shells. The shells themselves are solid, glistening like polished steel. He loads up the clip.
You know how to work that?
He pumps it once, with extreme confidence.
No idea whatsoever.
He slams the trunk, revealing the flying saucer sitting on top of your columns in the distance.
Let's bag us some bug.
As if on cue, one of the saucers begins to hum, then it starts to spin. Faster and faster, the ship begins to rise.
Oh, shit.
Exterior, the World's Fair. Laurel sits in her tree, watching with amazement. Exterior, Shea Stadium night. At Shea Stadium, a Mets game is in progress. Behind the home plate side, the flying saucer silently rises up in the night sky, plainly visible. All eyes in the house are on the Mets center fielder, except for his eyes, which are on the flying saucer behind home plate. His eyes widen, his jaw drops, and the catchable ball sails over his head, thudding into the wall behind him. The crowd boos viciously. Exterior rolls fair night. Kay raises the weapons he took from the trunk, looks over at Jay.
All right, set up to pulsar level 5, subatomic implosion factor.
What?
Just shoot the damn thing on the count of 3.
Jay raises weapons. They press the green buttons.
1, 2.
They pull the triggers. For a moment, nothing happens as if a misfire, but then there is a vacuum lump, like all of the air in the immediate area had been sucked into a space of the size of a dime, and a tremendous shockwave rolls out from the barrel of the guns. Jay and Kay are sucked to the ground by a bizarre force, thudding to their stomachs like magnets to a refrigerator. Exterior, World's Fair, the shockwaves sprinkle across the open space between them and the ship, then it hits the ship. And it too is sucked back down, hurtling back towards them. Exterior, Laurel's tree. She flinches as the flying saucer shoots overhead. Exterior rolls fair. The saucer crashes through the Unisphere, an enormous steel globe, and duds into the earth, crashing through brush, dirt, and rock. Jay and Kay come to their feet. In front of them, the dust clears. Trees uprooted, stones and dirt thrown everywhere. A dumpster has been cast to the left, and the saucer is there, embedded in the earth, tipped off kilter in a mound of debris. A hatch comes up, revealing Edgar, walking slowly toward them with contained fury.
You don't get it. I've won. It's over.
You're under arrest for violating number 4153 of the Tycho Accord. Please hand over any galaxy you might be carrying.
You milk suckers. You don't matter. In a few seconds, you won't even be matter.
Step away from the vehicle and put your hands on your head.
He pumps at the gun for
Put my hands on my head.
Edgar stares at him, deflects his arm, still encased in flesh. His giant pincers rip free of the rotting skin. He extends both pincers to the side, and my God, his reach must be 12 feet across. And the skin enclosed on Edgar's legs begin to crack and shred. It bursts apart, revealing 2 hideous double-over insect legs. The bug raises himself aloft on his legs. He sucks in a deep breath of air, and now the rest of Edgar's suit goes the way of the arms and legs. The torso explodes in a great rendering of cloth and skin, and finally, Edgar's head simply bursts apart, spattering against the walls. Edgar now reveals himself as he really is, a hairy bug-like exoskeleton, a scaly tail with a long stinger, a head like a cobra with elliptical eyes, and a small nose, and 2 horse-like feet with 3 toes each. He raises his pincers in the air. resting them on his head. The galaxy hangs on a chain around his neck.
Like this.
K and J pump their guns and aim at the bug. Suddenly, the bug spits and a huge slimy wad of goo shoots from him and engulfs both shotguns. The bug snorts it back, tearing them from J and K's grasp and swallowing them. J and K have only a second to react before. The bug swipes at them with the back of his clawed hand like someone brushing aside a gnat and sends them flying 15 feet in the air. Laurel's tree. She punches as she sees them hit to the ground. She starts to climb the tree. Rolls fair. J and K hit the ground with the loud grunts.
That did not go at all like I had planned.
They look up to see the bug moving for the second tower and the second flying saucer. K gets to his feet.
It's really starting to bug me.
K starts walking after the bug.
Look, whatever happens, Jay, don't let him get on that ship.
You going?
Keep him on this planet. I'm going to get my gun back.
What?
K says more and yells at the departing bug.
Hey, Bug!
The bug just keeps moving toward the ladder.
I'm talking to you, Bug. Hey! You know how many of your kind have swatted with a newspaper?
The bug turns toward K. K steps up to him, and the small human facing off against a giant alien bug. Laurel's tree. She quietly makes it to the ground, hurries out to darkness of the woods. World's fair on K and the bug. K has himself in the bug's face, its dripping fangs inches from K's face.
You're just a smear on the sports page to me, you slimy, gut-sucking, intestinal parasite. Eat me!
The bug reacts, cranks open his massive jaws with a deafening hiss, lunges forward, and sucks K into his mouth. The bug straightens up into his full height and throws his head back. K slides down the bug's throat, bending it sideways as he kicks and screams his way down into its abdomen. Jay looks on in stunned horror. As the bug turns to Jay and stretches to his full height and lets loose a hideous screaming howl of triumph. In the woods, Laurel still watching. Rolls fair on Jay and the bug. Jay watches as the bug continues his howl of triumph. He feels totally defeated, but he can hardly believe his eyes. He looks down at the bug's stomach. Close in the bug's stomach, through the leathery pouch of the bug's stomach, we just make out the descended outline of two atomizers, and just a few inches from it, a human hand is reaching toward the gun. K. Interior in the bug. K swimming in the bug's intestinal fluid, tries to make his way to the gun, holding his breath, eyes stinging. World's fair. Jay knows what he has to do. He picks up a good-sized chunk of concrete dislodged by the crashing saucer and hurls it at the bug.
Hey, come over here and try that.
Concrete dunks off the bug's shell. He doesn't seem to notice, just keeps moving. Jay picks up a twisted metal pole and runs at the bug.
Stop right there, or I'll start wailing on your waxy, pointed ass.
Jay starts pounding on the bug with the metal pole. Interior in the bug, K almost has his fingers around the stock of the gun. The pounding on the outside distracts him and he turns. The gun shifts away. World Sphere, the bug grabs the metal pole and yanks it out of Jay's hand. He swings at Jay. Jay dodges the blow and falls to the grass. The bug slices down with razor-sharp claws at Jay. Jay rolls out of the way, just as the mean-looking claws dig into the grass. Jay rolls right underneath the bug's legs. His hands fall on something in the grass. Another piece of debris, a sharp metal spike gleaming like a dagger. He grabs the metal spike and looks up at the bug's apparently vulnerable underbelly. Right above him, he grabs the spike with both hands and is about to thrust the spike up into the bug's gut when the bug bends its head down between its legs. Bug's POV of Jay, they're upside down from this perspective, lurking between the bug's legs. At the World's Fair, Bugs opens his jaws and snaps at Jay, who propels himself backward out of harm's way. The bug starts climbing the tower. Jay howls in frustration.
What are you? Afraid of me? Come on. Stand and fight like an anthropoid.
In frustration, Jay screams and throws himself on the bug, hanging onto its back, trying to drag it down.
You want a piece of this? Huh? Maybe you're a badass in your hive, but this is New York City. You're just another tourist here.
The bug flicks him off with his tail, sending him sailing 20 feet through the air. Jay crashes into the dumpster, landing on a heap in front of the garbage. But scratched and beat up, Jay still doesn't quit. He stands to yell at the bug, extending his arm at the creature.
You're messing with the wrong species, bug.
He notices something on his arm, a cockroach running down his sleeve. He flicks it off, looks down at the ground, sees another roach, looks over the dumpster behind him. There are more of them, a whole mob, in fact 50 or 60 of the critters, climbing out of a rutted hole in the rusted hole in the dumpster. He has one last desperate idea. He kicks at the dumpster. Part of the side is rusted paper thin and he kicks apart and crumbles to pieces. Tens of thousands of roaches pouring forth from the dumpster, crawling like a black glittering river away from the garbage. They leaps to his feet and moves to a glistening mob of insects.
Hey, Bug.
Pulls on Jay's foot as he steps on the roach. Crunch on the Bug as he flinches on the ladder. He hates that sound. On Jay, he smiles.
If I'm not mistaken, that was a cousin of yours?
He knows he's getting to him. He steps toward the Bug, moving his feet over to another roach. Crunch. He crushes another one.
Whoa. Hurt. And what'd you know? Here's your old Uncle Bob.
He steps forward again. Crunch. On the Bug, he turns around, anger and burning in his eyes. In the tear of the Bug, Kay's hand reaches closer and closer to the gun. Rolls fair. Jay keeps moving toward the Bug, finding new roaches to thread on, pulls his foot over another one.
What's that? Can you hear what he's saying? Help me! Help me!
Crunch on the Bug as he starts climbing down the tower and moving toward Jay. On Jay, they're moving toward each other in the showdown. Jay moves on, poising his foot over another roach.
Ooh, there's a pretty one. That one looks kind of familiar, don't you think? I know who that is.
The Bug is right over Jay now, jaws dripping, ready to gobble him up.
Don't do that.
Jay stares right back at the Bug, and inside he sees Kay's hand closing around the trigger of the shotgun. He brings it around, pointing up straight at the Bug's head.
That's your mama.
He moves to crunch the roach. Bugs moves to chomp Jay. Jay stares at him, unflinching.
Didn't she ever teach you not to bite off more than you can chew?
And at that very moment, Kay blasts a hole right in the middle of the Bug's midsection. The front of the Bug's thorax explodes in a shower of bug juice all over Jay. The Bug flies into two pieces, the butt and sailing one way, the head sailing behind Jay. Kay falls out of the Bug in a mess of goo, gasping for breath, dropping the atomizer from his slippery fingers. The other gun sails off into darkness. The icon drops to the ground, rolls over to Jay's feet, and clatters to rest like a silver dollar on a ballroom floor. He calmly bends down and picks it up. Jay's pissed and starts to on Kay.
Oh, you son of a...
Kay holds up a finger in a wait minute gesture, pulls out his pocket phone, and hits a number.
Zed, get a message to the Archelians. We have the galaxy.
Interior MIB headquarters, night. Zed is standing at the console, a smile on his face. He glances over at the console that displays alien arrivals and departures on the Earth. The red lights are coming back on.
I think the word's already out. Our friends are coming back. Get an authorized landing at Times Square. You and Jay check it out on the way back. And pick me up one of those soft pretzels while you're at it. Extra salt. I feel like celebrating.
Exterior rolls fair. Kay flips the phone close.
You were saying?
Getting eaten? That was your plan?
It worked.
As they argue, behind them, unseen, the front half of the Bug raises itself up, its forearms, eyes gleaming with hate, Josh dripping, ready to lower itself onto K and J.
I got the shit beat out of me.
I almost got digested. It goes with the job.
You could have told me that you were doing.
Wasn't time, sport.
The Bug attacks, swinging his head down on them. They turn to see it, and just before Josh snaps down their heads, boom! The Bug's head explodes to a million bits. The bug juice showers down everywhere. Buckets full of goo, drenching K&J even further. They turn to see Laurel standing behind the dead Bug, the other atomizer in her hands, the barrel smoking, the weapon and Laurel dripping the Bug innards.
Interesting job you guys got.
On the sky, bits of bug juice still flying through the air. Interior, a car on the adjoining freeway. The driver sees something tumbling toward the windshield. He winces, and the bugs remain splat against the windshield. The driver grimaces at the mess.
Bugs.
He reaches down and hits a button. Wiper fluid squirts onto the windshield, and the wiper spread the bug goo everywhere. MIB building, night. Kay's LTD is parked outside. Men in Black headquarters. Laurel leans her back against the car. We see Jay and Kay walking away in the distance.
Look, I know we got rules, but she did just bust a bug for us. And so maybe you don't have to flashy thing her.
Jay pulls out the neuralizer.
Who's she gonna tell? Anyway, she only hangs out with dead people.
It's not for her. It's for me. They're beautiful, aren't they? Stars. Don't look anymore. They're beautiful.
Okay, you're scaring your partner.
I haven't been training a partner. I've been training a replacement.
Oh no, I can't do this job by myself.
Hey guys, we're nowhere near my apartment. We're not even on the right island.
Maybe we won't have to.
Jay starts dialing back the neuralizer.
Days, months, years. Always face it forward.
He hands the neuralizer to Jay, taps his pocket, indicates for him to put his glasses on. Jay resists.
Look, I just been down the gullet of an interstellar cockroach. That's one of 100 memories that I don't want.
Jay takes the neuralizer, slips on his glasses.
So you're on sport.
Jay raises the neuralizer with a brilliant flash. The screen turns white.
No, you won't.
Exterior newsstand day. Closed on the various tabloid headlines as a hand flicks through them. Here's one. Mets center fielder says, UFO made me miss home run ball. Here's another one. Detroit has car that defies gravity. Secret test in the NY's tunnel. And a third, man awakens from 30-year coma, returns the girl he left behind. A large photograph shows a smiling Kay in arm with Elizabeth Reston, his long-lost fiancée, in her backyard in Tempe, Arizona. She holds a large bouquet of flowers, the same kind he brought, but never gave her 30 years ago. Jay, who's reading the paper, smiles. At the curb, Jay hurries back to the LTD with the newspapers. L, formerly Laurel, is waiting, leaning against the hood. Tailored black suit, black shoes, short cropped hair. The look never looked better.
Zed called. The High Consulate of Regent 9 emissary wants floor seats to the Knicks Bulls game.
I'll talk to Dennis Rodman. It's his damn plan.
Let's roll.
Both cars slam. Jay drops in gear, and the LTD blasts away from the curb. Interior New York City block day. The LTD is just one of the many cars in a jam-packed Manhattan City block. From up in the clouds, Manhattan itself is just part of a much longer urban and suburban sprawl. From the stratosphere, the East Coast of the United States is just part of a much larger landmass. From the Eosphere, North America is just a small portion of the planet Earth. From space, Earth is just a tiny ball in our solar system. From the middle of the Milky Way, our solar system is just a few blips of light in vast star field. From the outside of our galaxy, the Milky Way is just a creamy spiral amid innumerable other creamy spirals. From the outer reaches of the universe, there seems to be the edge of what we see, a curved border that seems to be closing on things around the perimeter, so everything that is there seems to be containing one tiny ball, and which is actually a marble resting on a strange-looking patch of red dirt. An alien hand reaches down and flicks the marble, sending it skittering and bouncing across the dirt, where it clicks into a dozen other big blue balls just like it. Fade out.
Oh, yeah. All right, y'all. Well, that is our reading for Men in Black. Thank you all very much for coming out, and we'll see you at the next one.